Overtime. Play the first 3 minutes, 7 seconds of overtime. Face-off win.
Sight.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Fourth flip. Held by paper. With room.
On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Michael played the first 3 minutes, 7 seconds of overtime. Face-off win. Bouchard shoots and scores. Evan Bouchard, number 20. And the Oilers prevail. 4-3 in overtime.
Well, fantastic, positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you are having a fantastic Friday. There is lots going on in the world of sports. Of course, we'll recap a busy night in the National Hockey League. Also, you have a few games tonight. Not many that have much playoff implication except the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings, they're the team that needs a win. They are taking on the Buffalo Sabres. At the start of the season, two organizations that were hoping to make the playoffs. Well, here we are on March 27th, and the Buffalo Sabres, well, they haven't officially clinched. They're looking like they are pretty much a lock, stone cold lock to get into the postseason. The Detroit Red Wings, today they are in 10th place in the Eastern Conference. They got 84 points. They do have 2 games in hand. They got 11 games to go. The Islanders have 9. They got 87 points. So if you win, it's a big if. If you win both of your games, then Detroit would be a playoff team. But we'll see. They have a massive weekend for the Red Wings this weekend. You play tonight, of course, against the Buffalo Sabres. And then they play again on Saturday, 15 games tomorrow, where the majority of the league is playing, and the Detroit Red Wings, they'll be hosting the Philadelphia Flyers, another team who has just found a way to stay in the hunt, the Flyers. So we'll see where it goes. This Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get involved. Lotto Max tonight. Good luck. $60 million up for grabs. PlayAlberta.ca. Get your tickets today. We got lots to discuss. First off, let's start with the Edmonton Oilers last night in Vegas. Now, what did we say in the show yesterday, Cons? Winning 2 in a row, that's not a big problem for the Oilers. They've done it 13 times. They can win 2 in a row. The big question is, can they win tomorrow? But last night, fairly even game, shots 29 apiece. Oilers win 4-3 in overtime as Evan Bouchard scores his 20th goal of the season, becomes the 4th defenseman in Oilers franchise history to score 20 goals. Joins Charlie Huddy, who had 20 way back in the early 80s. Sheldon Surrey had 23 with the Edmonton Oilers in, 2009? And Paul Coffey had 5 consecutive seasons, 29, 29, 37, 40, and NHL record that I think is going to be very difficult to break. 48 goals for Paul Coffey in 1986. That year, pretty damn good. Pretty good for Paul Coffey. So Bouchard joins that group. He is also inching closer to the very exclusive 90-point club, which started with Bobby Orr. And like when I say started with Bobby Orr, like Bobby Orr had set at the time the NHL record for points by defenseman, 64, back in 1969. Previous record was Pierre Pilote, who had 59. So Bobby Orr was the first defenseman to get to 60. And then the next year, he went from 64 points to 120. 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Boom, all in one fell swoop. It was a ridiculous jump. And that began a 6-year run for Orr that is never going to be matched by a defenseman for sure. Had 120 points. He had 130, 9 points. He had 101 points, 117, 122, and 135. Pretty damn impressive. His 139 points, still an NHL record that he set in 1971. Paul Coffey came close in 86 when he had the 48 goals and 138 points. Of course, Coffey and Orr, they're kind of like Gretzky and Lemieux when it comes to defensemen and scoring. They own the top 10 single-season records in the NHL. 103 points is the low bar to catch if you want to get into the top 10. You got to get 100. Well, you probably got to get 104 points. 103 would tie it, but you got to get more goals. Pretty hard to do. So let's just say 104 points. That could get you in the top 10. Evan Bouchard will not get to 104 this year, but he is very much poised to get to the 90-point club. He needs 6 points in his next 9 games. Not bad. Bouchard, man, he's got a hard shot, and it's accurate. Like, there's not many guys in the league that can score from there as defenders in the NHL. So that was a huge goal by Bouchard. Pretty big face-off win from Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. It wasn't, wasn't a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. I didn't love the McDavid giveaway on Vegas's Mark Stone's second goal. But Zach Hyman turned around and said, hey, what you can do, I can do better. Basically, took it from McNabb, scored. The Oilers, they had some chances. They had 2 3-on-1s on consecutive shifts early in the third. Probably could have put the game away. It didn't happen. That allowed Barbashev to come back, and he tied it. But the Oilers ultimately prevail. You would have loved to win that game in regulation. That's probably the only major criticism because it keeps Vegas. You only gain 1 point on them. But the Oilers are 2 points up on Vegas, and they own the tiebreaker, so you can kind of argue that they're 3 points up with 9 to go, and they play them next Saturday. You got the Ducks tomorrow, then you got the Kraken on Tuesday, Blackhawks next Thursday, and Vegas on Saturday. Then they go on the road for a 3-game road trip, and then they finish up at home against Colorado and Vancouver. The Ducks win with 1 second remaining in overtime last night. The Ducks seem kind of like they're destined to finish first in the Pacific Division. They're 5 points up in the Oilers, and they have a game in hand. Edmonton obviously has to win in regulation tomorrow to have any hope of catching the Ducks. It's still slim, but you want to at least give yourself a chance. Other games last night in the NHL that are very interesting for the playoff race. Suddenly, the Utah Mammoth, it doesn't look like they're home free. The Mammoth last night, in what was a pretty spirited game between them and the Capitals, starts out as a Tanev, a cheap shot for sure, right? And it really what it did, it woke up Tom Wilson. It gets Tom Wilson mad. Now he's seeing fire, comes out and he hammers McBain in the second period. Now I got an interference call on the play. It's probably slightly late. And McBain, he comes back fine. Now Krause has to fight Wilson in the third period. He gets 2, 5, and 10. McBain takes a 10-minute misconduct on the same play. So now 2 of your top 9 forwards are sitting for 10 and 17 minutes respectively. So not ideal. And on the instigator penalty, the Capitals score on the ensuing power play. And in that game, Alex the Great Ovechkin, a hat trick. He's got 29 goals. He is 1 goal shy of his 20th 30-goal season. 20 seasons of 30 goals. You freaking kidding me? Like he's going to be, when he scores 30, he'll be the 30th player this year to have 30 goals. The guy's in his 40s. He's now got 1,013 all-time goals. Now, I don't really love that record. No one's ever really talked about it, but I'm sure because, you know what, hey, it's the one goal-scoring record he doesn't have. If you're Ovechkin, how are you not coming back next year? I don't see it. I know that he's slowing down. Who cares? He's still going to score 30 freaking goals. The only guys in the Oilers who scored 30 goals, McDavid, Draisaitl, Zach Hyman scored his 30th last night. But the Mammoth are suddenly 3 points up on Nashville. They got a game in hand. And they're 4 points up on the Kings, who have a game in hand. And do you know who the LA Kings play tomorrow? Guess who? Utah. At home in LA, and that starts a lengthy homestand for the Kings. So the Kings are at home tomorrow against Utah. Then they have 3 days off, and then they play the Blues and the Predators, another team they're chasing. Then the Maple Leafs, then the Predators again, then the Canucks, and then their final on a 7-game homestand against the Edmonton Oilers on Wednesday, April 11th. Then they go out on the road, and they have Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary. So if you look at the Kings, they got Utah, team they're chasing, Nashville twice. The Oilers, playoff team, it's quite a bit ahead of them. But the Blues, the Maple Leafs, Canucks twice, Seattle, and the Flames, all non-playoff teams. The Kings' schedule is in their favor if, big if, they can take advantage of it. So, but that was the Kings got a win last night, 4-0 in Vancouver. Dominated that game really from start to finish. Outshot the Canucks 38-19. They were full marks for the win. And so the Kings, don't count them out. Schedule's there. All of a sudden, the Utah Mammoth, we'll see what they're made of here. This is a huge game tomorrow. So you go to the Oilers game, it's at 1:30, or maybe you'll watch it. That Kings game might be checking it out later. Starts at 6 o'clock Edmonton time. Other games that mattered last night, the Predators, they lose. It's a 2-2 game, and kind of a lucky goal. Hughes goes to shoot it, hits Heischer in the leg, goes in, and the Devils win 4-2. Preds really didn't have much going offensively last night, so they weren't able to move ahead of LA anymore. The Islanders, desperate for a win, and they got it. And how about Matthew Schaefer? He's now up to, the guy just played 31 minutes and 59 seconds in regulation the other day for the Islanders. And then last night, they win 2-1. Schaefer, 2 assists. He now has 54 points. He ties the great Denny Potvin for second most points by an Islander rookie defenseman. Stefan Pearson had that record, which I didn't know. I would have guessed it was Potvin, but it's actually Pearson with 56. Schaefer, pretty good chance he's going to break that record. He's also 1 goal shy of the NHL record for most goals by defenseman. He just continues to have himself one hell of a season. The Minnesota Wild win on the road in Florida. They had 50 shots. They were deserving of that win, but it took them until 5 seconds remaining in the game for Joel Eriksson-Ek to get the winner 3-2, and they move to a few points within Dallas. The Kraken find a way to stay alive. They win in overtime over the Lightning. Senators lose to the Penguins in a shootout, but the Penguins lose Sidney Crosby. And they're calling it a lower body injury. Who knows how long he's going to be out? Doesn't sound like he's going to play this weekend for the Penguins, so that's a big loss. And the other important game had Montreal getting by Columbus 2-1. Jaden Struble scored his first goal of the season, and then Zach Bolduc had the winner in the third period. So with all the action last night, Montreal stays in third place in the Atlantic. The Penguins are in second in the Metro with 88. Columbus behind them with 87. The Islanders have 87, so 3 teams within 1 point. New York has played one more game. The Bruins have 88 points. They are fourth in the Atlantic. They got the first wild card spot. The Sens have 86, and the Red Wings 84. So the Sens and the Red Wings currently on the outside looking in, and it's a big weekend coming up for a lot of those teams in the NHL. But the Oilers, hey, last night, that's another pretty solid performance. They didn't have a lot of egregious breakdowns overall against Vegas. I thought they missed some chances, 3-on-1s. You got to get some better shots off. Probably would be my main criticism of their game last night. But they won. And that's what you want. It's a pretty solid performance overall. Wasn't great, like dominant by any stretch, but it wasn't bad. And at this stage, you know what? You just want to win games. I felt they probably deserved to win the game, and they won it. Matt Savoy, what a shot. Matt Savoy can really rip the puck, man. And he scored his 13th, got goals in back-to-back. As a rookie, guy gets 15 goals, man, basically all 5-on-5 or shorthanded. That's a pretty good season for a rookie. And you're seeing a lot of the potential. Now, I know a lot of people, I'm seeing everybody, they got to sign him. They got to sign him to a long-term deal. Okay. I understand that from the team perspective. Give me the reasons why you think Matt Savoy and his agent are going to rush to sign a contract. Matt Savoy is a 9th overall pick. Last year, really good first year in the AHL. This year in the NHL, just like in the American League, he's really started to figure it out in the second half. Right? Like, look at Matt Savoy's production since coming out of the Olympic break. Really good. Just under a point a game player. So what would he want? What are you going to sign him for? Because everybody says you got to sign him. Okay, but for what? What are you signing him for? And don't tell me $4 million, because why is he signing that for a long-term deal? There's no chance that Matt Savoy, I guess there's always a chance, but I'd be stunned if his agent agrees to a 7 or 8 year deal at $4 million. Why would he? Why would he? Lots of other guys get $4 million. Like, I think Matt Savoy, I'm going to be fascinated to see how the negotiation goes. No doubt the Oilers want to get him signed. I understand that. And I understand the trepidation of people that are worried about, they screwed over with Dylan Holloway. They don't want to happen to Savoy. Completely two different scenarios. The GM who was in Edmonton at the time isn't the GM now, right? So you're going to have different philosophies for sure. And Matt Savoy has actually already been, I think, more productive in the regular season than Dylan Holloway was at the time of when he was up for an extension, right? Because in his year with the Oilers, what did he have that year? He had 6 goals, 9 points, right? And look what the Blues signed him for. So if he had 6 goals and 9 points, like, I get you're signing a guy for the future, but it was like $2.2 million on a 2-year deal. It's going to be at least 4 for Savoy, and probably more depending on the term. So I get why Edmonton wants to sign him. I get why the fans want him signed. But what are him and his agent going to look at for sure? So we'll see about that. It is something to follow. Curtis Lazar is eligible now to come off of LTIR tomorrow for the Edmonton Oilers. And I wouldn't be shocked to see him in the lineup. You get a right shot, could take some key draws. You can play Jones on the left side, and Lazar's a natural right winger instead of Järventie. So I could see a Järventie who was on emergency recall, right? So now they might just not activate Curtis Lazar, but when I talk to him, I know he's ready to go. So now you're done your minimum games off the LTIR. So my hunch is that you could see him activated tomorrow. Cons, what were your thoughts on the game last night?
I enjoyed it. Entertainment-wise, it was a very good game. I thought some sloppiness defensively, but also some really good plays. I really enjoyed seeing Connor McDavid on the 3-on-1, hang on to the puck and shoot. Love the drive by Bouchard going to the front of the net, but I would love to see Connor McDavid do that more. And one of the things, Gregor, if I can, steal the Shaq meme, my apologies. I wasn't familiar with your game. Dickinson, mucking it up a little bit after the first period. I absolutely love that, because I've been saying I miss what Evander Kane and Corey Perry brought to this team, that degree of unpredictability and at times dragging you into the fight. He got hit high. He didn't like it. He ran a guy after the buzzer, and it got the spark going. So that kind of thing I really liked, on top of what he brings defensively. So all in all, I thought it was a really good game, and I'm fired up for a potential first-round series between these two teams, because it's getting going again. Like, we're in playoff hockey mode.
It was interesting because we had Dickinson on. Well, we didn't have him on, but we were playing some of his clips yesterday on the show, and he talked about, I don't really have a lot of hate yet for Vegas. But he took a big hit from McNabb. And you know what I loved? He didn't run McNabb. Now, Theodore had the puck, and it was right when the buzzer sounded. It was close, but that was not this was not we're close to the buzzer, I'm going to slow down. No, he skated right through him, and I loved it. That's what you need. When you want to get to the playoffs, you need a pack mentality. Jason Dickinson is not a guy who, he doesn't have to fight. I don't care if he fights at all, right? If guys want to fight, awesome. But it doesn't matter to me if he doesn't want to fight. But when you're 6'2" and 200 pounds, you can throw your weight around a little bit. He's a good skater, and it was Shea Theodore that he hit. Didn't go after Lazon, right? Went after Theodore. Awesome. And you know what? Everybody jumps in there. I think Josh Szymanski, as a rookie, is going to recognize when you come into a scrum, you got to know who's on the ice. You can't just kind of come in wholehearted. Did you see him get clotheslined? because he wasn't really paying attention. He didn't. Well, here's Keegan Kolzar. Kolzar sees anybody coming in, and he's got the arm out like, you're not getting in there. So, yeah, you always got to be aware because, man, it's a Mansky go down awkwardly when Kolzar just stuck the arm out and kind of clotheslined him, which I have no problem with Kolzar doing that. I'd want my guy doing the same thing. But Kapanen was right in there. Nurse comes flying in there. That's what you need, right? You got to play as a pack mentality. Vegas is not that tough. You know, like Lauzon's a tough customer, sure. So is Kolzar. But the Oilers got guys, Nurse, Podkolzin, they got more than enough. All right, you throw in Frederick when he's in the line. He's not going to play tomorrow, by the way, but I think Tread Frederick, the earliest he could be available is next Tuesday against Seattle. We'll see, about when he's skating next. Does he come out for warm-up even tomorrow, or is he just not going to skate till Sunday or Monday? He didn't go on the road trip, so he'll need a few practices, I would think. Early, coming back from what my report is hearing that's likely a concussion. So we'll see. But man, I like the fire in that game last night. It was good. Also during the broadcast yesterday, and I've been doing a deep dive. I got an article coming out next week, kind of about the history of the Norris Trophy. Because I know what, and I've said this for a long time. And there's lots of Bouchard's terrible defensively. If you want to expose yourself as somebody who looks at one mistake and values it 100 times more than good plays, that's what you're telling everybody. You're exposing yourself. Oh, Bouchard can't play defense. You don't watch the games then. He's not a defensive stalwart. He's not going to win best defensive player. He's not Jacob Slavin. Doesn't need to be. He's more than adequate defensively. And if you saw Mike Kelly's report on the broadcast last night comparing giveaways and turnovers and many other things, and we're going to talk zone exits and other things with Mike about that. Bouchard's right up there. He's having a great year. And I know some people say, oh, it shouldn't be about points. Well, there's another funny tidbit. Outside of Rod Langway, which, and I'm actually going to have Mike on. I got a surprise question for him because I'm going to give him a homework assignment. Because in my research for my article, I still cannot believe that Rod Langway won the Norris Trophy 2 years in a row. 1 year he won the Norris Trophy as a, quote, defensive defenseman who had a minus rating. How the hell is that possible? Paul Coffey had 96 points, was plus 52, and he didn't win. Rod Langway won. He was -2 and had 30 points. And I don't even think he's the best defenseman on their team. They had Scott Stevens. They had Larry Murphy, Hall of Famers. Like, it's wild. That it was like the voters, and back then it wasn't public. And by the way, as somebody who does vote, I have no problem putting my votes out public because I'll defend what my opinion is. I'm not going to vote for a guy I don't like just because I don't like him. It's hard to defend that. Why didn't you vote for him? Well, I don't like him. No. I try to do a lot of studies on it. So I'm doing a deep dive in the Norris for lots of different reasons. And so we'll get into Mike Kelly. We got Laurianne Munzer. Eric Stevens will join us. We'll talk some Ducks. Matt Barrett, the Oil Kings. Playoffs, baby. Tonight. Check it out down at Rogers. Declan Kruger will stop by. We're going to talk about the Combine, who stood out there. What did you see? Or maybe more importantly, what didn't you see? Craig Button, Spec, Low Tide, Cam Tate. We got a loaded show for you here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Summit Restaurant. Located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common, Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. Most in-depth WE football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.227, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. The Oilers day off today, of course, afternoon game tomorrow. Remember, 1:30 Edmonton time, puck drop. Tomorrow we'll have the pregame show at noon here on Sports 1440 as the Oilers look to win 3 in a row. Dare to dream, Oiler fans. Dare to dream. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Silent Ice Center, located just outside South Edmonton. It's got 2 rinks, unbelievable place to watch curling, concerts, hockey, and check out the Summit Restaurant. Very tasty at Silent Ice Center. Talking a lot of things NHL from NHL Network and Sport Logic. Mike Kelly joins us. Mike, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, good to see you again, Jason. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm really good. Mike, I enjoyed your piece last night because I always chuckle in Edmonton and around people. Oh, yeah, Evan Bouchard only has giveaways. And I've always argued the biggest reason why that is because he plays for a Canadian team on Canadian networks that show way more highlights than the American teams do. And so you don't have national guys showing the mistakes, because usually when they show a Colorado game, they'll show the highlights of the Colorado goals in the opposition, and they won't show the giveaways. And Werenski and Hughes and Makar and Bouchard, they're all elite. They're all great puck carriers. But guess what? As your numbers proved, they do all turn the puck over. It happens.
They do. Yeah. Like, look, if the stuff I did last night was based on our data at Sport Logic, and if you go to NHL.com and look at giveaways, the way that they track it, give me the top 20 guys. I'll win the Stanley Cup every year. They're all the best players that have the puck more than anybody else, right? So they make more good plays than everyone. They also turn more pucks over than everyone. The stuff I talked about that we track to try to normalize that is, well, how often do you turn it over relative to how often you have the puck? So the rate at which you turn it over. And Bouchard isn't bad there. He's never really been bad over the last handful of years. And he's been better this year than he's been in years past. But the argument that I hear a lot is like, oh man, it's a pizza up the middle. Like the turnovers are so egregious. It's the nature of them. We've seen those too on social media, right? I could cut you a Cale Makar and a Zach Werenski and a Nathan McKinnon and a Connor McDavid pack of the same thing if you want. Because it happens when you're that good and you have the puck that much. I think, this is me personally, I think there's something to the fact that, they play in a big market. They play later at night on the East Coast. People don't see Bouchard as much as maybe someone on the East, whatever. I also think that because of like body language wise, Bouchard is, I don't even think nonchalant's the right word. Like I watch guys buzz around, skate so fast and not really accomplish anything. And then I watch a player like Bouchard he looks more casual, but it's very fluid and he accomplishes a lot. Maybe that makes a bad turnover look worse than it actually is. That's just anecdotal. I don't know. But the crux of it is he's not an elite defenseman, like you just pointed out. He's so good offensively that for me, my point is you can't take him out of the Norris conversation and just say, nope, this thing, he doesn't count, because it's not that bad.
No, well, it's not. And I was looking at some of your stats and pictures of it last night. And you're talking about giveaways that lead directly to goals. And Makar's, now he has fewer giveaways, but more of them have led directly to goals than Evan Bouchard's. And so, like, to me, giveaways, they might annoy you, but I always chuckle at people. I said, I remember Scout, the best advice he gave me goes, if you only watch for the things a player doesn't do, you miss all the things they do well. And I think Bouchard is a prime example. People rate one giveaway like 10 or 20 times more than one good play. And that's not how it works. If a giveaway is worth one and it's not a goal, like a giveaway that leads directly to a goal, okay, that's maybe a -2 if we want to do it. Just like if you score a goal, your pass leads directly to a goal, that should be a +2. And, you kind of even it out across the board. But I think people see a turnover and they're like, oh, that's -50. And this really nice pass, oh, that's only +1. And I think that's how they equate to it.
Yeah. Well, the turnovers that lead to chances give you some signal there, right? The ones that lead to goals, kind of too, but then that's goaltending dependent. And like what you pointed out, the turnovers that lead to goals, Bouchard, Makar, Werenski, these are guys that have 10, 11, 12. Like they're all within 1 or 2 of each other. So you just throw it out. Like it's not, if Bouchard was at 35, sure, we got a point here. If his chances were 25, 30% more, sure, but that's not the case. Anyways, I like what you said too about like Rod Langway. And I mean, man, you don't have to go back that far. 2023, Erik Karlsson won the Norris Trophy. He was a -26 in San Jose. He put up 101 points. And plus minus has its flaws. It wasn't as bad as it seems, because a lot of those, San Jose was a bad team pulling the goalie, empty net goals, they still count. But he wasn't a plus player. He was on a bad team who had a monstrous offensive year that was so good. I thought that he should win it that year, and he did, and good for him. So it's not like it hasn't happened. It's not like it hasn't happened recently. That being said, if I had to vote on the award today, I wouldn't have Bouchard number 1 for the Norris Trophy, but I wouldn't discount him, and he absolutely would be on my ballot.
Who would you have number 1 today?
Well, there's to me, like the Hart Trophy, I'd have Kucherov, and I don't really need to think about it. There's still games left and it's close enough, but like the guys I would have in that conversation are Makar and Werenski. Bouchard is in there somewhere. Quinn Hughes for what he's done. I'd have Mo Seider in that conversation. You want to talk about the defensive side of the game? This is still a very adequate offensive player who eats a ton of tough minutes and is elite defensively. He'd be in there. So I don't think there's yet a consensus number 1. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think it's fair, because what's interesting is, I do think sometimes first impressions matter, and the Oilers stumbled out of the gate badly, and so did Bouchard. But Bouchard, since November 1st, is +30, and he leads the NHL in points with 77. And, he has the same amount of power play points as Quinn Hughes, who, by the way, in that time, Evan Bouchard's +30, Quinn Hughes is -2, right? Their power play points are the same. So, the difference is Bouchard scored more even strength points. I know some of those games are with the Vancouver Canucks, but not a massive amount. And I like Hughes a lot, but my concern on Hughes is he doesn't score goals. And that's a big difference. Yeah, you got to pass the puck, but when everything's even, goal scoring matters to me. And that's why I would have Hughes below Werenski, below Makar, below Bouchard, and I'd probably even have him below Lane Hudson.
Hudson's been great too. Yeah. I mean, Hughes is almost at an assist a game, and that's only been done by, I think, 3 guys. So there's a historic element to what he's doing. Yeah, goals matter more and are more important, and Bouchard's got a lot more of them. I'm don't disagree with you at all on that. But I think that it makes for a great debate. And, more than anything, the people who vote on the award, I want them, as we all should, to not agree with me, but do the work, do as much of it as you can. And whatever you value, I get it. Like, come to your decision, and that's yours. And I'll respect that. I'd respect that more than somebody who picks the same guy as me, but doesn't necessarily put in the work. So, I know a lot of people that vote on the awards, and I get a lot of phone calls that time of year because people just want to kind of double check their ballots and all that. And I know most of them put in the work and take it seriously. And that's a good thing.
Mike Kelly joins us from the NHL Network. Evan Bouchard has the same number of assists as Quinn Hughes this year, 64 each. The difference is he's played a few more games than Quinn Hughes. The other one is, like, how much do you rate, like do you guys track like zone exits and exit efficiency and passing and stuff like that? How close are the guys in that department? I don't know if you have it on hand or not, but
Bouchard, I want to say he's 16th among defensemen in exits per game. He's around like 35th or so in entries. You get into like the Makar, the Hughes, the Yossi, Werenski's, those guys, like, they're all cream of the crop in terms of puck moving. Bouchard, he makes a good first pass, but he's not the rusher that those guys are.
No.
Yeah. So you wouldn't expect him to be at that level. So that's just another thing. And like, you break it down into all these different areas. And if you're better at one than the other, it doesn't necessarily make you a better defenseman or a better candidate for an award. They're just different players.
Yes.
Not many guys score the way Bouchard scores. Not many guys have the shot the way that he has it. Not many guys quarterback a power play the way that he does. So differences among all of them. And, at the end of the day, it does start to get somewhat subjective when you have to put it all together and say, I think this is now the best defenseman. Even though, like, I've got a player archetype model that will rank me one to the bottom in what I have built and what I value, but I still use that as a guide. Like, I would never be like, oh, who's up for the Norris? There's my 1, 2, 3. There's your guys. It's, a way for me to continue to dig a little deeper.
What about Darren Radish? Where does he come out for you this year?
He's been awesome. And kind of, I don't know, out of nowhere maybe isn't the right way to put it, but like, I don't know a lot of people that saw this coming. His shot's incredible, accurate with that one-timer. I think no one's taken more one-timers than him. There's only maybe 1 or 2 guys that have more one-timer goals. Draisaitl, if he's not still leading the league, he was within the last week, even though he's missed time. And I don't know that people ever think about Draisaitl for one-timer goals, although he's always up there because he doesn't have like an office or, a big OV windup, but you know what it is. It's him down by the goal line, just sweep one time in these pucks in. Kucherov's up there, but yeah, Radish, he's been fantastic for Tampa. Moser's been fantastic. Like, Charlie Dastu's been great. They've got all these guys that they probably didn't see having as big a role as they've had that have been great. I think that speaks to the front office and the coaching staff and the players. We'll give the players some of the credit.
Yeah, for sure. I look at Darren Radish, and like, he's got 86 shots that are between 90 to 100 miles an hour. Second closest is Bouchard at 45. It's almost double, right?
Yeah.
And then you go down to Tage Thompson at 39, and Nikishin and Caroline at 37, and Erik Karlsson's at 36. That rounds out the top 5. So when you look at it, Radish has twice as many as every player in the league except Bouchard. Like, he can really rip the puck, right? He's always had a hard shot, but now he's just using it more. It's funny, I was going to ask Evan, because I was looking, like, last year, Bouchard led the NHL with 90 to 100 mile an hour shots. He had 74. He only has 45 this year. And I'm just, myself, I'm kind of curious as to why, because I don't think he's shooting the puck less. He's just not as many that are that hard.
Well, now we should take him off the Norris ballot. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. That's what's fun about digging around on that like Edge website is like some of the stuff, like how far a guy skated in a game. I still don't know what to make of it. I'm not going to completely discount it, but like, I bet you Mario Lemieux didn't skate very much distance in a game. He was a pretty good hockey player. But some of the things are kind of illuminating, and especially when you look at year over year over year, like Austin Matthews, right? He still gets it. I know he's been hurt, but he still gets kind of the same amount of chances and kind of the same amount of shots. But his shot speed over the last 5 years, his hardest shot speed has gone down every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not scoring as much. So you can start to kind of like formulate a hypothesis at least, right? And that stuff can be interesting. Maybe Bouchard's not shooting as many of these hard shots because they're going different places on a power play, for instance, or, it could be any number of things.
Yeah. Mike Kelly joins us. Mike, the other one, when you look at goaltending and a lot of the numbers you guys track, Sorokin's had an unreal year. And I know like some of it's funny. Like I have a hard time with expected goals because everybody seems to have a different number. And some of them vary. Like if one guy is 26.8, the next guy is 27.1. I don't really I'm like, okay, I can figure it out. I'll just go to 27. Right. But I find it's all over the map. When you look at the goaltending numbers this year, are Sorokin, Vasilevsky, and Swayman, should they be the 3 finalists for the Vezina?
Yeah, I think so. The thing that Swayman and Sorokin have in common is they don't play on great defensive teams. And the Islanders, in fact, are one of the worst.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky, through no fault of his own, plays on a top 5 defensive team in the league in terms of shot and chance suppression. So he's not facing the barrage that those other 2 guys are facing on a nightly basis. Again, no fault of his own. He's put up unbelievable numbers, won a ton of games, been a huge part of the success of that team this year. And they have had injuries and, haven't been the same necessarily as other years past in terms of who's in the lineup every night. Like Hedman's out right now. So, if you wanted to come to the decision that you're going to pick Vasilevsky, I wouldn't argue with it. My personal vote would be Sorokin because I think the difference in what they've had to deal with is so stark. And yet you look at their save percentage, which is, again, doesn't factor in shot quality at all, pretty similar. That to me is incredible on Sorokin's part. He had another great game against Dallas last night and helped them win that game. And one of the things I created that I like to look at is goalie steals. So we've quantified, are you kind of the difference of your team winning that game or not? Did you make the biggest difference in that game for your team? Got another one last night. He's got 15 this year. It's a third of his starts. Let's say he's had 7 or 8, right? And the Islanders don't win 7 or 8 more games. They're not close to a playoff team, right? So, he's been incredible.
Mike, you mentioned Kucherov for the Hart, and I'd probably agree with you. He's been on such a massive heater here for over 50-plus games. It's kind of hard to overlook. And, and then when you factor in how many more points he has than the next guy in his team, there's lots of different reasons, but he has been on an absolute cooker. When you're 15 to 20 points more than the next best players in the league over an extended stretch, that's pretty impressive. Now, for the Art Ross, though, it's going to come down right to the wire, McDavid and Kucherov, and that's good. That's there's no votes on that. It's just who's going to win, and that's why this Art Ross race is going to be great down the stretch here the next 2 weeks.
It is I don't want to take for granted the years where we've seen McDavid pop off for 150 plus points, whatever, 60 goals, and watching McKinnon and Kucherov, McDavid, Celebrini's fallen out of it a bit, but such superstars battle for scoring titles. It's awesome. You watch Kucherov now, it's you're not getting 3 points. You're like, he's a little off tonight, 1 or 2 points, but it's been crazy. And he's been playing 80s hockey for most of the season in terms of just kind of 2 points a game pace. It's nuts. Yeah. So I think for me last year, I love what Hellebuck did. For me last year, I still would have picked Kucherov.
Yes,
I think he gets disrespected to some degree, whether it's, I don't know. I have no idea if this plays a role or not in anything. People were pissed about the All-Star game stuff where he didn't try so hard, right? I didn't care at all. When I think about Kucherov, and he doesn't do a ton of media, I guess, right? Whatever. I think about, he's one of the hardest working players in the league. Ask his coach about how hard he works in the offseason and fine-tuning his game and being a student of the game and not being complacent. I respect the hell out of that when you're a star that's that good anyways. His post-game winning the cup, no shirt, number 1 BS, crushing Bud Lights. I love that stuff. So I don't know where it comes from, but I think he's hopefully just kind of making it a slam dunk at this point.
Yeah, well, I think he's had a great year, and I'm sure the fact that he's Russian probably has a bit to do with it. I didn't like Hellebuck winning last year. I don't think Hellebuck had one of the Kevin Woodley, who knows goalies way better than us. He talked about Darcy Kemper had an infinitely harder goalie environment than Hellebuck and had basically the exact same numbers as Connor Hellebuck. And, Hellebuck had one of the best environments in the NHL, and so he was good, but I have a hard time giving an MVP to a guy who doesn't play 25% of the season. So that's just me.
No, it's a fair argument when it comes to goalies. Some people say goalies have their own award. I think when there's like a massive outlier, like Dominic Hasek winning a Hart Trophy, right?
100%. Played 70+ games.
Right? Yeah. But some people do feel that way for sure. Because the guys now, like, you get 55, maybe 60, but no one's really pushing that.
Yeah. Mike, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll keep reading and following your stuff. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day.
Hey, good catching up with you, bud.
You bet. There's Mike Kelly from Sport Logic and the NHL Network. Take a quick break. Laurianne Munzer is next. It's Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
The WHL playoffs return to Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat. Tonight, your Edmonton Oil Kings have home ice advantage as they face the Saskatoon Blades in Game 1 of their first-round series. Then, Family Fun Sunday, your Oil Kings turn up the heat for Game 2 with Saskatoon. Special 2 p.m. puck drop with pregame bouncy castles, face painting, and more. Plus, at every playoff home game, score Calmon Kids food combos for $10 or less. Edmonton Oil Kings, Saskatoon Blades. Game 1 tonight at 7. Game 2 Sunday. Great seats at Rogers Place. Start at only $20 to save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting non-stop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Millions and millions of Canadians do not have a doctor. We have a crisis. Canada's Medical Clinic is opening clinics across Canada to allow everyone to have a doctor to call their own. Early detection saves lives. If you are hearing this ad, then we've got some good news. Canada's Medical Clinic Windermere is now open. Call now and book an appointment with your new doctor. canadasmedicalclinic.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
$2.50 as we return on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Friday afternoon game tomorrow. Man, there's lots going on. How many teams you got left in your bracket? A few more got knocked out for me last night. So still haven't lost the team that Michigan State. That's my final. But had Houston in the Final Four. They're out. So had the Zags in the Elite Eight. They're out. Actually, the one bottom, whatever the bottom left, I don't know if that's East, North, West, or South. I don't know which one it is. But whatever the bottom left one, where Houston and Florida, all my teams are out on that one. So not looking good. Let's go in the mine now, brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta. And for those of you that are thinking about solar for your division, solar building owners who install solar commercial building owners, not solar building owners, commercial building owners will qualify for up to a 30% federal tax credit, plus accelerated capital cost allowance benefits. Learn more at actionelectrical.net. As Olympic gold medalist Laurianne Munzer joins us, and Laurianne, as a female athlete at the Olympics, big announcement coming out today that they will not have, not today, but earlier this week, about the no transgender athletes competing against women, which I understand it. You know what? I'm very empathetic of transgender people. I have no problem with it, but there is a difference. That's just scientific, and there's a reason why men and women don't compete. That's why I chuckle anytime someone tries to say, oh yeah, the women, they could compete with the men. Sorry, you can't. Doesn't mean you're not any smarter in skill. You're just not as big and strong. You put the best cyclists together, the guys with testosterone are going to win.
Totally. That's why you got to outsmart them. So I totally agree, Jason. And it's a touchy subject, one that you're never, ever going to win, but you have to start somewhere. I think there should be 3 classes, female, male, and if you want, bring the transgendered in, right? Then you've got,
I don't know.
Then you've got the class.
Sure.
There's people out there. There's different levels of ability in sport. And if the Olympics is your sights, totally go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Were you surprised that that this came about, or were you concerned that it wouldn't? Because I know I talked to a lot of women over the past few years, and because obviously they're the ones that are at the disadvantage in this situation, and I pretty much got, I wouldn't say 100%, but probably like 99% of the ones I talked to said, yeah, I don't think it's right.
I don't think it's right. I understand where both sides are coming from. But at some point, you have to make a decision. Not everybody's going to be happy about it. No. Not everybody's going to love it. But it's true. I mean, if I wanted to get better and faster, I raced with the men. But physiology-wise, I cannot beat a man. We're different.
Yeah. Well, a man that train, like you could be the average schmuck. Like that's why I said we're talking elite level athletes, right? If you, I tell you right now that any of the men listeners who are on site, you just, I could beat Laurianne in a race, go down the cyclodrome. I put all my money on Laurianne. I'm just, so it's all relative to somebody who's trained, is what we're saying here,
Absolutely.
right?
And it's just, if you look at the world-class men, the world-class women on the same sport, there's different levels. There's usually, when I was racing, it was 1 second between the men and the women.
Which isn't a crazy amount, but it is a lot when you're racing. Like, it's funny. A second, it's like when I was trying to explain to my son about getting faster and how he wanted to prove, well, Dad, that's not a lot. And I said, so I went and got a Usain Bolt watching the Olympics. And I said, look at Usain Bolt. Here he is. He won 9.5. Now, see how far ahead he is, those guys? I said, look at their times.
Yep.
It's like 9.7, 9.8. And look how far it looks like they're behind. And that's not even a full second.
Absolutely. Like, to put it into context, if you blink your eyes, that's a second. Now break it down to a tenth, 100th, 1,000th of a second. And I've shared with you, I have a photo finish where I lost a race of 1/1000th of a second. That is like, you're splitting hairs down 100 times. And it's a good thing the timing clocks have gotten better and better and better over the years, because of that difference of, it's literally a hair and then it's beyond the hair. The eye cannot see the difference sometimes, and that's where the photo finish has to come in. And it's just, it's technology advancing. It's human nature advancing. We are going to get faster. If you start putting equipment in, look at the equipment I raced on 20 years ago
100%.
To where it is now. Look at the gear inches. I mean, today, tomorrow, and Sunday, anybody who wants to come and see what track cycling is all about, we have junior national championships happening up at the Velodrome this weekend. Tonight, 4:30 until 8. Tomorrow, 10:30 until 2, I think it is. And then 4:30 to 8. And then Sunday again. So we have our best juniors, so under 19 years old, coming and racing.
All Canadian, best Canadian juniors?
Yes, you got it. And it's 3 days. We're showcasing, maybe Canadian records are going to fall. The track is certified. We are up. We are running. It started. This weekend is the first for the national championships.
Now, is this the first big event at this new facility?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
it is,
yeah.
And there's going to be more.
Oh well, that was. I would assume that was the reason why they built it. Kind of, it's you'll build it and they will come.
Absolutely.
Kind of philosophy.
Yes.
From having someone who, like yourself, who trained, and when you look at that, how much of an advantage does that give to young Edmonton cyclists having a facility like that?
Oh, it's everything, Jason. You can ride almost 365 days of the year. You do not have to shovel off snow. You do not have to go inside when it's raining. We are covered. We are indoors, which means you can ride all day long, literally. There are track times. You can rent. You can learn. You come. You get certified. You can learn to race. You can become part of a club member. And it's just, the opportunities are, they're going to go through the roof.
What's the slope degree on this track?
It's 45 degree.
40. Now, is that, so what's the standard? What do you have to be?
I don't know if there is a standard.
Okay.
So
what does it range then in from? Like, what have you raced on?
I've raced on 28 degrees in Victoria on an outdoor 333 track. Calgary has a 400 meter track, which is, you don't see very many of those. The Edmonton track was 333 meters, probably a 36, 37 degree. Each track is built a little different. The Edmonton outdoor track was very similar to the Brisbane Goodwill Games, the very last ones that was held in 2002.
Okay.
So when I actually got on the track, you ever have that deja vu? I've been here before. Well, the reason was it was the same builder, and that's why it felt similar. But typically the tracks, they're all different. Peter Junick in St. Catharines, he built one that was called Fonthill Lumber. So in Fonthill, they built an indoor one that was inside of a hockey rink. It was like absolutely crazy. I think it was 185. That was like 56 degrees. You want to talk about your face just doing the G-force? Your gears were totally different. You couldn't wind it up like you do the Edmonton outdoor track or the new Edmonton 250 meter track. Your gearing is always different. Burnaby indoor is 200 meters. So again, the gear inches, your tactics are going to be totally different.
So at a 45 degree angle, which is what this one is, 45 to 40. For an average schmuck who just got on the track, what would be the biggest difference? Would I even notice the difference between 45 and 40 or 45 and 30?
As a novice rider, you probably wouldn't notice it. You would probably notice your heart rate still elevated to the top, but it's learning to ride it. You don't start at the top, Jason. You start at the bottom. You start working your way up. Our track is a little bit wider, so it's giving you a little more room to maneuver, to set up, to do your tactics, that sort of thing. Typical World Championships, Olympics, Commonwealth Games, Pan Am Games, they are indoor and they are being set up on a 250-meter track. So there is a standard distance, but there isn't necessarily the standard angle, degree, sharpness, G-force.
Okay.
It's going to be close.
So that's going this weekend. And how many athletes will be there?
I think there's 70 or 80 athletes. There's a good handful of them. So they've been coming in earlier this week. Today was qualification for starting of races. You're going to get pursuits. You're going to get the sprinting. You're going to get the 500 kilo for the men. You're going
So 500 would be 2 laps on a 250 track?
2 laps. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Sprinting is still 3 laps, regardless of what size of track it is. It is.
So if you have a 330-meter track and you have a 250-meter track, well, when you do the 3 laps, you're doing significantly more. You're doing almost
250.
4 laps.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So traditionally, some of them are going to change. Some of them are going to be the same. The pursuit is going to be the same distance. The tempo race or the points races are going to be 30, 40 laps. There is a new race that has been brought in, and first person across the line each lap gets a point. So you're going to want to grab some points right at the start.
Okay.
The person with the most points at the end
That's like speed
wins.
skating. They have that on the long one a little bit. So
Sort of
where you
like
get-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not like one of the exciting races is like the devil out race. So first person across the line gets a point. Last person off the back, you get
Oh, yeah, it's
ejected.
the elimination.
Exactly.
I like that one.
They call it devil doesn't care or something, whatever. You don't want to be the last person across the line. You don't want to get boxed in, but then you don't want to be too high on the race. So super great time to come out, get an experience. I'm actually going to be at the track tomorrow night between 4:30 and 8. I'm going to be doing some of the medal presentations for the sprints. So if you find me at the velodrome, come find me, right? I'll give you a tour. I'll show you, maybe explain some of the tactics of what's been going on or what's happening inside of the race, because 3 laps, it goes by pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Awesome. So where's the velodrome? What's the address?
It is Westmount Shopping Center.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know the address, but I know it's right behind Rochep School. So
Okay, right.
Coronation.
Yeah. Coronation.
Recreational.
Yeah. Okay. It's just off of 111th.
Right. If you can find Peter Hemingway Pool, it's right behind there.
Okay. I know exactly where
Tell
it
us World of Science. So east of
Yeah, that's
140th,
140th, yeah.
42nd Street.
Yeah. Awesome.
Exactly.
All right. So we'll see you there. Have fun.
Take care.
There you go.
Thanks.
That's Laurianne Munzer. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. It's still snowy on the roads, but if you want to plan ahead, you're thinking, I know I need some new spring tires, some summer tires. We get tires, get an oil change, vehicle fixed up, ready to go right now. FountainTire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have signed Thomas Cibulka to a 2-year entry-level contract beginning next season. The 6', 176-pound Blue Liners for the last 2 years playing in Czechia, recording 57 points in 90 games, the 3 previous years spent in the queue. On the ice tonight, you got the Red Wings in Buffalo and Blackhawks taking on the Rangers, both games starting at 5. In the majors, Toronto Blue Jays kicking off their season, hosting the Athletics, first pitch 5:07. We'll join that game in progress right here on Sports 1440 on the AM feed. Only one game going on right now. Yankees and Giants are scoreless in the second. You've also got the Marlins and Rockies, Guardians in Seattle, Padres host the Tigers, and the Diamondbacks taking on the Dodgers. In the association, Toronto hosting New Orleans, tip-off 6:30. Elsewhere, Lakers and the Nets, Mavericks and Portland, Warriors up against the Blazers, the Bulls taking on the Thunder, and the Celtics hosting the Atlanta Hawks. March Madness Sweet 16 continuing. Number 1 Duke up against number 5 St. John's at 5, followed by Michigan, Alabama, UConn, Michigan State, and Tennessee taking on Iowa State. In the WHL, it's game 1 for the Oil Kings. They'll host the Saskatoon Blades. Puck drop at 7. In the BCHL, Saints taking on West Kelowna out in Spruce Grove, while the Crusaders are in Okotoks. And in the AJ, Game 5 action, Whitecourt and Camrose can wrap up their series, both leading 3-1. Meanwhile, Canmore hosting Calgary. That series tied 2 games apiece in the PWHL. Boston and Toronto at 5, And Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash in Jupiter Island, Florida earlier today. According to the sheriff's office, there's no update on his condition. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host, Wanye Gretz of Oilers Nation. We'll look at the Ducks with Eric Stevens from The Athletic and preview Game 1 Oil Kings Blades with Matt Barrett, voice of the Oil Kings. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meat, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Island Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who.
Laurianne.
What about the
Munzer, let's get to the con.
All-Star
Laurianne.
Construction.
Munzer.
And the directional drilling, hydrovacuum, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Something's happening.
Gregor, if I
Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's after 3 o'clock on a positive Friday. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Hanley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, the Gregor Show is always brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, Lotto Max, $60 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. While you're there, you can jump in on the Jason Gregor Show specials. We have a little Jays action for you tonight. Of course, the home opener. Got some Sabres. Team Tage Thompson, get on that. And also, once the odds are officially up, you'll have some Oilers Anaheim, because it's an early game tomorrow at 1:30 Edmonton time. We'll have a pregame show here at noon on Sports 1440. We got a lot of text line in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. As we welcome in Wanye Gretz to the show. How you doing?
Good. I'm confused by the team. Are they great? Are they not great? I mean, you're writing confident articles that if they dial it in, they're still a cup champion.
No. Cup contender.
Contender. Sorry,
Yes.
contender. Yes.
Big difference.
The big. You're right. I'm just rounding up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was a very entertaining hockey game.
Yeah.
That was a great game.
Yeah, it was. Well, hey, it's 2 games. The Oilers can play well for 2 games. I said it yesterday. I said, trust me, this isn't game 3. Now, tomorrow is a totally different story. Confidence level for me and the Oilers playing a good game tomorrow, not nearly as high as last night, because for whatever reason, they cannot wrap their head around to get on a run. And here's the thing. If you win tomorrow, then you get 2 days off. And then you take on Seattle, a team that you virtually beat for fun since they've joined the league. Then you got Chicago. You could actually get on a run if they want to, right? And then you got Vegas again, a team that they've now won 9 of their last 10 between playoffs and regular season. Like, you know what? So that part's good. But it really comes down to tomorrow. The Anaheim Ducks. And if you're the Ducks, you come into Edmonton knowing if we win this game in regulation, we pretty much guarantee ourselves first place in the division. Even if they lose in regulation, they've still got a very good chance to win. But if you win in regulation, you're the Ducks. You look back, Edmonton has 8 games remaining, and the Ducks would be 7 points up, and the Ducks would have 9 games. So the Ducks could go like 3-6 and 13 points. The Oilers would have to, dominate, then go something like, what would they have to do then? To go like 7-1. So yeah, that's why it's a huge game for both teams. Edmonton to keep the dream alive, Vegas, or for Anaheim to say, hey, punch our ticket. But more so for Edmonton, it's just like, can we get on a run here? Can we actually string together some solid games? You've done 2, and they've done that now 13 times this year. We know they can win 2 in a row. That's not new. It's can they win 3? So
they're playing a lot differently. There's a lot more spice in the games. There's a lot more pushback, and that's what we've been begging to see.
Yeah, pushback, but also, like, I love Dickinson's yesterday. So he took a hard hit. That's fine. And guess what? He came right back, but he ran over Shea Theodore, didn't ran over Lazon. That's what I liked about it. He's like, hey, man, I'm going after who's ever got the puck. And it was a clean hit, right? Yeah, so what? They get, there's 2 coincidental minors for each team in that little melee. It's fine. But that unifies your group. Anybody who's played at any level understands that. It's just, hey, guys, because I've always said, you got to stand up for yourself. If someone hits you, go hit someone else. It doesn't, like, hey, you don't want to fight Jeremy Lazon. Jason Dickens is not a fighter. He's not going to run into Lazon. I totally get it. But then go hit someone else. Go after one of their best defensemen on a clean check right now. Clean, because, hey, right at the buzzer, I like, hey, play to the whistle. And he played to the whistle for sure. This just coming down. Tiger Woods earlier at 2 p.m. was in a car accident, and now he's being arrested with a DUI. So he's obviously got some, time when he crashed his car the other time, right? There's obviously some addiction issue going on for him. It's Friday afternoon, 2:00 local time there in Florida. Anybody who knows that's, what? Hey, you got a drinking problem. Hopefully he gets it sorted out. And I don't know. People thought he was going to play in the Masters. I don't know how this impacts it or not, but we'll see. But either way, that's the latest report for Tiger Woods. We got a lot of texts flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, even Karius had Werenski over Bouchard. Tell me why. Bouchard has more points, being lights out defensively, just as good or better stats as Werenski and other guys. Why he's not number one. Cheers, King of Fort Nasty, who also added that Hughes assists per game player, and Bouchard has the same number of assists. Well, Bouchard does have the same number of assists, but he's played more games. Right? Bouchard has 64 assists in 73 games. Hughes has 64 and 67. But I will say this. Almost an assist per game isn't an assist per game. It's not the same. No one calls you a point-a-game player if you're not a point-a-game player. So until he's an actual assist per game player, he's not an assist per game player. He's close. But it's not, no one says, hey, you're a 1.9 point per game player. Oh, you're at 2 points per game. No, you're not. You're just under. You're very close. But that's how it is. So when it comes to Bouchard, I think, and hey, I respect it. Now, the funny thing is, what I find somewhat humorous about some of the biggest Bouchard supporters, like, hey, you know what? People got to change their mind about Bouchard. He's not as bad defensively as he was, and all these things. And they're right. But in the same breath, they'll turn around and say, Darnell Nurse is the worst player in the world. He should never be on the ice. Hey, Darnell Nurse, can he infuriate you? 100%. Darnell Nurse's last 3 games might have been his 3 most consistent games of the season. Right? And does it erase the early part? No, it doesn't. But he's played really well now. But I watched the people who rip on him like, oh, Nurse wasn't very good last night. What are you talking about? He was. If you want people to admit Bouchard's being good, then you yourself have to look and say, hey, Nurse has played better lately. Now, it's a short sample size. I get it. But you can't be both. But I always chuckle about that one. The guys who are screaming the loudest, everybody hates Bouchard. No, not everybody hates Bouchard. Mike Kelly, lots of other guys. I've been talking about it for months about Bouchard. He's been really good, right? We had Andy Lindhall on. Hey, Makar's had a lot of giveaways this year. Now, not as many as Bouchard, according to Sports Logic, but more of his giveaways of Makar's have led directly to goals against. 12. Bouchard's at 11. Werenski's at 10. And it's going to come down, when you say it's subjective, well, that includes your opinion. Your opinion is just as subjective, right? So when I say there's Werenski and there's Makar, and I think those are my top 3. And like, I don't put Quinn Hughes in the categories, those guys. I don't care. Like, assists are nice, but assists are easier than goals. And he's not close in the goal category. And if I just look at all the other numbers, and rightly or wrongly, when everyone says, yeah, but he played in Vancouver. So what, am I supposed to erase that? Well, then if we're going to do that, then erase Bouchard's October. You can't, if a huge supporter comes to me and says, yeah, but the numbers in Vancouver don't count. I said, okay, well then what day did he start in Minnesota? Let's find that date and we'll go from there to the end of the season for all of them. And guess what? Hughes still isn't going to match up to the other ones because he's not scoring way more goals. His plus minus isn't magically way better. Right? It just isn't. Like, Hughes is a very good player, but this year he isn't one of the top 3 best defensive. I would argue that Lane Hudson has had a better season than Quinn Hughes. I really would. So, and I like Quinn Hughes. It doesn't mean he's not a great player. But the award for me is based on this year. I give 2 nothings about what happened last year. Last year's irrelevant. It has nothing to do when you, as a voter, what happened. I don't even look at the stats last year. I don't care. But if you have to use this year, then you have to use Quinn Hughes' numbers with Vancouver because that's the season. It's not, is it the Norris Trophy for the team he played on? You can't eliminate the 26 games that he had in Vancouver. Now, in Minnesota, he's played 41 games, right? He's averaging more than an assist per game with the Wild. Okay. But no one looks and says, hey, this guy has, are we going to pick out half the season? You can't do that. You can't just pick which games to say you're a point a game guy, right? Like Nikita Kucherov's being a 2-point per game player for the last 50 games, but he doesn't get to be called a 2-point per game player because he was only a point a game player for the first 18, right? You can't just pick and choose the numbers. So when I look at Hughes' overall numbers, I see a -3. Lane Hudson's plus 28. Makar's plus 31. Bouchard's plus 21. -3 doesn't match up. So if you take points, Bouchard has the advantage, 84, 77, 71. Hughes is 5th in points. he's -3. How can he be in the conversation to be top 3? Like, I'm sorry, he can't, because the other guys this year are doing more, right? Werenski leads all defensemen in 5-on-5 scoring. Pretty important stat considering it's where the majority of the game is played. And unlike Bouchard, unlike Makar, even unlike Hudson, who has Cole Caulfield in 44 goals, Werenski doesn't have a top-end scorer. And trust me, as a defenseman, that's going to matter for some assists. It doesn't punish the other ones massively, but you do have to look at everything. You just have to, right? So you'd have to look at turnovers. You'd have to look at minutes played, right? What's his name doesn't kill penalties, right? Quinn Hughes hasn't been on the PK very much. So when all the other guys are killing penalties, then it impacts other elements of the game, right? If you're not on the penalty kill, you can't impact the penalty kill, right? Cale Makar kills more penalties, right? Like Quinn Hughes in Minnesota in 41 games has been on the ice for a grand total of 3 minutes on the penalty kill. So how can you compare him if we're looking at all the other numbers? Power play, 5-on-5, penalty kill. Well, he doesn't grade on the penalty kill. The other guys all do. So that puts him in a deficit for this season. And that will be a challenge for him moving forward. You have to look at everything. And so for me, Bouchard, Makar, Werenski. And by the way, the season's not over. There's still 10 games for some of these guys, right? 10 games out of 80 is a pretty big number. So, what's that, 12% of the season still? So you never know. What if one of the guys suddenly gets hurt and doesn't finish the season? Well, that's going to change things. That's why I never say who's leading. The only one that's easy for me this year is Schaefer because he's so head and above of everybody else. And then any idiot could pick who's the Calder Trophy winner this year. Other than that, there's who are the 3 to 4 favorites in every category. That's kind of how it shakes out. And Bouchard, for me, is definitely one who's in 3. Right? And that's just how it goes. Right? Hey, Gregor, Hughes and Bouchard give up way too many goals 5-on-5. Well, Kenneth, first of all, they don't play goal. So are they on the ice for more? Sure. Is their goaltender worse? Yes. So you look at giveaways. How many plays do they make that directly lead to goals? And I just outlined it for you. I know that it's hard for you to deal in facts, Kenneth. You've texted the show for years. You don't like to deal in facts. You listen to certain selective things. We just said Bouchard has 11 giveaways directly to goals. Makar 12, Werenski 10. So you can't say Bouchard can be on the ice and have nothing to do with the goal against. Just because you're on the ice doesn't mean it's a massive negative for people. Just doesn't. But Makar for sure has the advantage. But so does Rasmus Dahlin. Rasmus Dahlin's been on for 40 goals against 5-on-5. Makar's at 39. It's pretty damn close. All right. So Rasmus Dahlin, I think, is another guy who's in the conversation in the top 5. He's up there in points. He's up there in goals against. Doesn't kill as many penalties, which actually kind of surprised me. When I looked up his PK numbers, I was a little surprised. I thought he would be on the PK more. But I guess you can't play everywhere. So I get it. The other one is, do you get negative points for being on the power play a ton and not producing? You should, right? Shouldn't you? If you're on the power play and you're the main guy in your power play and your team's power play is terrible, that's not going to rank as high as the guys' power plays who are better. That's just a fact, right? So that's why you got to take in everything. You got to look at power play. You got to look at penalty kill. You got to look at 5-on-5, situational play, turnovers, everything. So, and like Mike said, just because you're better at one skill doesn't guarantee you're the better defenseman. You got to weigh it all. And at the end of the day, when people vote, if they disagree with you, it doesn't mean they're an idiot. If they can defend why they voted. Like if somebody votes for Makar and outlines, here's why I had Makar, do. Here's why I had Werenski, boom, boom, boom. Here's where I had Bouchard, boom, boom, boom. Fine, right? But Oiler fans are going to, not everybody's out to get you if Bouchard doesn't win. I just want to preface it by that. Because that's what, oh no, they just don't like Bouchard. No, like if Bouchard finishes 3rd or 2nd, they're not out to get him. He was on a lot of people's ballots. Just somebody felt like some other guys were 1st or 2nd. Bouchard's going to get some number 1 votes. Make no mistake. I just don't know how many he's going to get. Right? I think it's going to be a pretty close vote. Like because I've been compiling, I got an article coming out next week about the Norris, the history of the Norris and all the voting and everything else. And points do matter. Historically, they've always mattered. I chuckle when people say points don't matter. Now, the difference is today you have other things you can look at. In the 80s, you barely had video review, for God's sakes, right? Not even a game was even on TV, right? So you couldn't watch every game. So, and you barely had, they didn't have plus minus in the early eras, for God's sakes. Like when they first handed out the award, there was no plus minus. So you kind of had to go on points. What else would you go off of? You couldn't watch every game in the league, even though there's only 6 teams. You couldn't do it.
Is there a number so big for points that Bouchard puts up that he ends all conversation and it's his trophy?
Well, he'd probably have to get to 100, which I think is unrealistic with 9 games to go, right? But like, I'll say that if he gets to 95, 96, you're in a category that like only 10 defensemen have ever done. So that puts you, and Carlson did win it it was on a bad team, sure. He had a bad plus minus, not as bad when you looked at his 5-on-5 that year. I think it was like -1 or -2 at 5-on-5. But other defensemen have won with the minus rating before, right? So Rob Blake, I looked at the year Rob Blake won in 98. Now, that's the one year I was kind of like, I'd like to go back and figure out why he won that year over some of the other guys, right? And some years it's very close. And I think this year it's going to be close. My only beef is I think some people vote based on who didn't win last year. Oh, they're close. I think they deserve it now, even though they might not deserve it. And that's hard. But that's the one thing I always tell myself. I don't care. I don't look to see who. I try to ignore who won last year. Obviously, it's my job. I kind of remember it. But I don't remember what the standings were of everyone who was top 5. I don't look at it. I don't go back to look and see who won the last year, because I think that can influence me. So I only look at, hey, who's doing the best this year? And guess what? If somebody's deserving to win 8 years in a row, they should win 8 years in a row. This is not a freaking participation ribbon. I don't want to give it to everybody just because. And I will say there's been more guys that have won in the last 30 years than in the previous 30 by a mile, right? There's only been 4 multi-time winners since 1996. That's it. But if you go to the previous 26 years, it was mainly multi-winners. Bobby Orr, Paul Coffey, Ray Bourque. Who else won? Somebody won 3 times. Dennis Potvin. So lots of guys be multi-winners. Haven't been many of those lately. So Erik Karlsson's the one guy who's had 3 in this gen. Obviously, Nick Lidstrom had 7. Duncan Keith had 2, and Cale Makar has 2. That's it. Take a quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
For 50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group. Beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit selvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
Every goal, every Selly. The place to cheer on your favorite team is Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house, with all games on tons of big screens. And Selly's menu, top shelf. Plus, check out the game night food and drink features. And don't miss the excitement of Oilers watch parties all season long. Experience Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Everyone, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Wanya Gretz, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. So we're going to get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. It's your final weekend to get in. Stop in, get the NHL Star Sticks. Get one of these 7 mini sticks anytime you purchase a Star Sticks meal and collect your favorite players, including McDavid, Matthews, and more. Check it out at McDonald's. As we welcome in to the show, covers both the Ducks and the Kings for The Athletic, and the Anaheim Ducks, the first place Anaheim Ducks. Eric Stevens joins us. Been a while since you said that, Eric.
Hey, Jason, how you doing today?
Hey, pretty good, man. Pretty good. The Ducks literally coming down to the wire last night in Calgary, score with 1 second remaining to win that game. They beat excellent, and they probably didn't matter, because if they get to the shootout, they're perfect. They're 8-0. They're probably going to win that game regardless. But you look at this Ducks team, and you covered the Ducks before in the Perry and Getzlaf era when they were good, and they were a good deep team. This Ducks team, they're winning games. They give up a lot. Do you think they've got the horses, or is this a team that's going to have to learn to play better, especially in the playoffs when most teams play better defensively?
Yeah, you know what? You make a great point, Jason, obviously. And especially with the fact that their propensity to allow the first, if not second goals in games and have to be forced to come back in them, it seems unsustainable. And I would think that that's something you can't do in the postseason because you're right. The games just naturally tighten up. But I tell you what, this group is very confident. They feel they can score on anyone. And that's how much their offense has evolved to this point. And we know how much youth and speed and skill that they have. But certainly on that defensive side of the puck, it's something Quenneville has preached basically all year, on the same hand, he's allowed this team to play that kind of wide open style of hockey, almost river hockey, if you could say. So that's what's going to make tomorrow's game, I think, going to be very interesting. Apart from the fact that obviously it has huge Pacific Division implications as well, the fact that Anaheim, by and large part, especially as young players, don't have that kind of playoff experience that the Oilers have, and what playoff hockey is going to be like. I think this is going to give them at least a little bit of an example of the kind of game that they're going to have to play in order to succeed in the postseason.
Dostal's been amazing in goal for them this season. When you look at their team, what is it about them that they're going to have to learn to be better defensively? If it's just the defense, is it their forwards not helping out? Is it a combination of everything? What's led to them having to rely so heavily on their goalie at times?
I mean, some of it is stylistic. Again, Joel has let his young guys play, and he's leaned into their skill sets. This team can, and this is the first time I can really say this in a long time. This Dutch team can fly. They can skate. Yeah. They've got skill. And Joel, to an extent, has leaned into that. But saying that, in fact, I was watching last night's game, particularly, closely as well. They still do, some of these guys still do have that habit of leaving their zone early and breaking out before they've really, really secured it and really been able to make an efficient breakout pass. They want to go. They want to get on the attack, but you got to have the puck first in order to do it. And so a lot of times that's left them wide open. Now, some of it is also having supreme confidence in Lucas Dostal.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't want to be relying on your goaltender to make 10 bell saves throughout an entire game. But the one thing that I will say about him this season, yes, he's racked up a lot of wins, and some of his stats below that don't measure up to, say, some of the top 10 goalies in the league. I will say, though, that he's come through with a lot of clutch saves for them, which has allowed them to come back. If they're down by one, early in the game, down by two, he usually makes that save that doesn't let a game get out of hand. Or he makes that save in the third period when they're down by one so that they can be able to mount a comeback late. He's been money in that sense of making those clutch saves, those timely saves when you need them.
Well, yeah. And when you have a goalie like that, it's a huge advantage. Now, they got some guys on that team. You mentioned they can fly. I actually did some stats the other day about quick teams, and you had Colorado and you had Edmonton, and then the Anaheim Ducks, I think, were the third fastest team in the Western Conference. So you're bang on in your assessment that they can skate. And they got some really good young players. I know Carlson got nicked up there for a bit, but Cutter Gauthier, that's a trade that I know Drysdale's been pretty good in Philly, but man, Cutter Gauthier's been, I think, everything the Ducks wanted him to be. And this is a guy, I've had multiple people who tell me they think Cutter Gauthier is somebody who's going to win the Rocket Richard Trophy down the road. They just think he's that big of a finisher.
You know what? That is saying something, but I'm not going to say that that's an outrageous take because he's got 36 goals this year. And honestly, I really think that there's still a lot more, in his game, even overall, and even as just a pure sniper as well. He's shown this year that he can be able to score, in more ways than just off the rush. I think that's been big in him developing his game. And let's think about this Anaheim club that is really just beginning to open its contention window. Pat Verbeek has wanted to build a club that he feels will be able to contend for a decade. That's why in some instances they've gone 7 years without the playoffs because he wanted to do a real rebuild and slow build this thing. And so they're just now cracking open that window. If this team continues to mature and get better and improve, that just means more chances for Cutter Gauthier. If he's playing on the first power play, more opportunities for him. We know he shoots the puck. He's already one of the leaders in terms of shots on goal. And that you can see is going to be a place he's going to sit for years on end here, because that's how he's wired. And he has already one of the best shots in the game. So I can easily see him moving into that 40-goal territory, if not touching 50 goals here and there, when you take into account his own maturation, his team's maturation, playing with guys like Leo Carlson and whatsoever. He's going to have a ton of opportunities, to where maybe he does end up in that Rocket Bouchard conversation one day.
Eric Stevens joins us here on Sports 1440. So, Eric, what was your thoughts? And I know you got the Edmonton game first, but Toronto and the Ducks are playing here right away, and everybody knows what happened with Gudas and Matthews. And Gudas, to his credit, came out and said, "Hey, man, I didn't like kind of what I did on that play." He didn't complain about the suspension. He just took it. How much response do you think you're going to see in that game from the Maple Leafs?
You know what? That was one of the things that was surprising about the Leafs' lack of response initially. And, in fact, I was there, and, even in the press box, you were like wondering is Craig Berube going to say something in between periods? And I think it was clear and obvious that he did, send a message to his club there. And in that third period, there was the expected, I guess, response that you would have thought initially. That would have been immediate in that instance. As far as the play itself with Radko, and you're right, he has come out, and said that obviously it's not his intention. I don't think it's really too many players' intention to injure a player, much less a star player, a player of that, of Austin Matthews' caliber. It was reckless, without question. And I could have seen where he could have gotten even at least a couple of additional games on top of the 5 that he got. But yeah, the response by the Leafs certainly was lacking, right away. And it does make you wonder, I think it's just going to fit into kind of the narrative around them, heading into the offseason in terms of, what they need, what Austin's going to do, and what they need to do in order to support him. There's going to be no shortage of storylines around that franchise, as if there ever is.
Big game for the Oilers tomorrow, but big game for the Ducks. You beat the Oilers in regulation or even in overtime or shootout. You pretty much punch your ticket to first. And even if you lose, Edmonton's going to need a lot of help to catch them. But this is, the Ducks, I know they're a young team, Eric, but, here's an opportunity that it's not a playoff game, but it's kind of as close as you can get in the regular season. Some of these big games, rivalry games, where there's an opportunity to really punch your ticket. And I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to respond tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's you're spot on with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Anaheim plays this game. Here, they've now finally gotten in, at least with this season, they've gotten into I think they've gotten into that position where they're not, say, in awe of Connor McDavid, or they're not in awe of the Oilers. Sometimes teams can still lapse, into that, and it's easy to get overwhelmed by them. Especially if you fall behind 2-0, 3-0 in the game. I mean, whatever the problems are with Edmonton or whatsoever, they can still hang 6 on you in any contest. So it'll be interesting to see how the Ducks play this game, because, like you said, Jason, this is going to be one of those where at least it's going to be, it's not going to be playoff hockey. I mean, that's still a different animal, but at least it's going to give you a sense of how are they approaching this contest. These are meaningful games now for Anaheim. They're trying to lock down a Pacific Division title, which nobody expected to start this season. And I think it's important too, especially when you want to avoid, either Edmonton or Vegas, or whatsoever, in that first round there. It's really going to be interesting to see, how the Ducks attack this game, and especially try to get a lead in contest, because again, too often they're surrendering the first goal and having to come back in games. And while they've done it plenty of times this year, I don't know if you want to be, doing it against the Oilers, especially when the Oilers are going to be very desperate.
Well, it should be a fun game tomorrow, Eric, and we'll see. Oilers will probably want to avoid a shootout because the Ducks are a perfect 8-0 in the shootout. We'll see, but if Edmonton wants to keep the slim hope alive of trying to win the division, they got to win in regulation tomorrow. So it should be a fun matinee. We'll see you down at the rink, Eric. Have a great day.
You too, Jason. Take care, all right?
There you go. That is Eric Stevens. Covers the Ducks and the Kings for The Athletic. We'll take a quick break. We will come back. I want to get to my pet peeve because there's nothing worse than a league that why they don't have consistency on their own website. I'll tell you about it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries. Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text VALUE to 780-777-7777 to start. That's VALUE to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
CanTorque has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at CanTorque.com.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sport 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
347. Welcome back. Positive Friday, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. It's the Gregor Show. Always brought to you by our title sponsor, playalberta.ca, where you can get in. And tonight, Lotto Max, $60 million. Ooh. Would that be good? Good luck. And while you're there, maybe check out the Jason Gregor Show specials. MLB, baby. Well, of course, it started on Wednesday officially, but the Blue Jays in action tonight against the Athletics. Mr. Gosman will get the start for the Toronto Blue Jays. Got some Jays games and more, favors, orders as well. Let's now get to our WHL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or your AC unit. Bundle them together, you'll save even more. LegacyHeating.ca. As the Edmonton Oil Kings playoffs begin tonight. As Matt Barrett, the voice of the Oil Kings, joins us. Matt, how you doing?
Doing great, Jason. How are you, sir?
Hey, man, I'm excellent. Playoff hockey. I don't care at what level, man. It's awesome. The intensity just ratchets up. Everyone's good. We know that Curran, of course, is done for the season for the Oil Kings. They've had some guys banged up. Is there anyone else who's coming back for the playoffs that hasn't played lately?
Well, it sounds like Miroslav Holinka will be back here tonight. But otherwise, we'll kind of see how the next few games go and see who else comes back. But it looks like the group is relatively healthy in comparison to how they finished the year. A lot of it was maybe just a couple nicks and scrapes, trying to make sure everyone was ready for tonight. It looks like a relatively healthy roster, in comparison to probably the last week or so of March.
Well, yeah, things change pretty quick. I think when you look at it, the matchup against Saskatoon, obviously the Oil Kings being the better team all year long, but we know playoffs are different. So let's kind of go through the matchup for the Blades. And you see the Oil Kings when it comes down to, how do you feel the matchup is the Oil Kings forwards straight up against the Blades forwards?
I think the Oil Kings are deeper up front than the Blades. I think there's, more in the third and fourth lines for Edmonton in terms of, a guy could take over a game or a guy could be a huge factor in a game for the Oil Kings. You look at Caden Strader, probably a third line guy or so when it comes to a fully healthy Oil Kings roster. He had a hat trick a couple games ago to finish off the year. He had 5 points in the last 3 games. So, I think there's a lot more depth for the Oil Kings and a lot more firepower in the sense of the forward group, but you can't sleep on the Saskatoon Blades. Guys like Cooper Williams and David Lewandowski, who's an Oilers draft pick. There's obviously some guys who can put the puck in the net on that side, and they're going to have to rely on those guys.
Goaltending, how's the matchup?
Well, the Blades rely heavily on Evan Gardner, who, as a Columbus Blue Jackets second rounder, was on the radar for World Juniors at one point, but had some ups and downs this season, but finished with a above 900 save percentage. He's kind of the Blades guy. I don't expect them to go to Riley Budd unless things go really haywire early. But he is the guy for Saskatoon. And Edmonton could go either way with Simcoe, who played in last year's playoffs. He played 5 games for them in last year's playoffs. And Parker Snell, who's been sensational down the stretch for them and has really found his game as of late. So the Oil Kings could go either way. And I think, if things went south early for Edmonton, I think they're much more comfortable than maybe the Blades would be going to the next guy, whoever that might be.
When you look at the Oil Kings, to me, they're the favorite, and I think it's pretty strong. What about that Calgary Brandon series? Because that's the only one that that's probably the closest series in the East. Who do you like in that series and why?
I mean, the travel plays a huge factor, I think, right? I mean, it's going to be a 2-3-2, and Calgary to Brandon is not a short jaunt. So that, I think, might play a huge factor, but home ice advantage for Calgary. But the Brandon Wheat Kings are obviously, they're going to have some home ice when they're on home ice. The building there that they're going to play in is in Verdon. And if they can fill that barn a little bit, it might be, an X factor. But Brandon can score in bunches, which I think could be, the big difference maker is how many times can Brandon get on the board when they can score 2-3 goals in a span of 4 or 5 minutes and really kind of turn a game on its head. That could be the big difference maker. But if Calgary can get some, goaltending from a guy like Eric too, Calgary should be all right. They've got a really good squad up and down, but Brandon's ability to score at a high rate is pretty spectacular at times.
Matt Barrett joins us. WHL playoffs begin tonight, of course. The Oil Kings hosting Saskatoon. Prince Albert has the Red Deer. Calgary hosting Brandon Medicine Hat, hosting the Regina Pats. And then, of course, you have the West Conference going as well. You mentioned Hlinka. So who do you expect him to play with tonight?
Yeah, we'll see. He's kind of played with a few different guys. He's an uber talented guy that can kind of play with a bunch of different guys. There was the line of Obo, Bifo, Hansen, and Feuder. I expect to keep that one the same. Hlinka and Sauchin have kind of been the two that have stuck together for a lot of it. And then it kind of just depends on, who's hot, who they maybe want to get going at a time. It's been Adam Yeko at times late in the year. So maybe that's a trio to keep an eye on is, the two Czechs with Lucas Sauchin, who led the team in scoring.
When you talk to head coach Jason Smith, to get a sense of a matchup that he would like, he obviously has home ice advantage for the first two games. Is there a specific D pair that you'll see, hey, this is the D pair he wants out against the Blades top line? Or is it going to kind of be split between their top two pairs? Yeah,
it's hard to say. I mean, I think the Oil Kings have a benefit of having three really good D pairings that they can kind of go to. A guy like Austin Zemlak is a true, shutdown, reliable defenseman. I wouldn't be surprised to see him out in some big defensive moments. But guys like Ethan McKenzie, who score a lot, are also extremely talented defensively. So, I think the Oil Kings want to put their best players out there in the best situation to succeed. We'll see tonight. And obviously, as you know, things can change in a series and who maybe has a better matchup against certain guys. I think tonight's going to be very telling, maybe by the second or third period, who's out there a lot against the Lewandowskis, the Williams on the other side. And I think as we go on in the series, we'll get a better idea of that. But for now, I think the Oil Kings and Jason Smith are pretty happy with putting their guys out against the Blades guys and seeing how the cards fall.
Well, Oiler fans obviously will be watching, they'll go to the game cheering on the Oil Kings, but also watching draft pick David Lewandowski, who leads the Blades in scoring this year, 65 points in 57 games. They don't have like a dominant, 90-point guy, but, Lewandowski and Cooper Williams, they could, I think they got like 4 players at over 50 points. So they don't necessarily overwhelm you with 1 or 2 guys. They kind of come more as a top 9 group. Fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. There's a lot of guys, and they kind of are a team that will kind of win low-scoring games too. In a lot of times in Saskatoon, especially if they get ahead of you, especially in the third period, they kind of fall back into a little bit of a neutral zone trap, and they like to just slow the game down. That's kind of been their MO over the last few years. And if they score a couple on you, then they'll kind of fall back and really slow the game down on you. So that's kind of the big thing. And they've got a few guys who can score, but I think that's their biggest thing.
Give me your thoughts on is there an upset that you see as a potential in any of the 8 series in the first round?
Yeah, it's relatively chalk, I think, for the most part, to steal a March Madness term, I guess. But the one series that could, I think, maybe flip is the Spokane and Prince George series. I like Spokane's game. You never know, especially with the travel. I keep saying the travel because the WHL, the travel can be a crazy X factor, and that's going to be a tough travel series for both of them. So we'll see who can handle that better. I like Spokane. We'll see how Prince George fares there. They've got home ice advantage though, does Prince George. So that building up in PG up north in BC can get pretty rowdy.
Yeah, it does. Talk to a lot of people, and you kind of echo what a lot of people are saying. This year they not really seeing any upsets. Now that doesn't mean there won't be any, but there's a lot that you think, not really sure, which then means, the Oil Kings take care of business. The Tigers take care of business. And you probably got a Tigers-Oil Kings matchup in the second round, which would be a hell of a series. So, Matt, enjoy the playoffs, man. The intensity ratchets up. Should be a lot of fun down at Rogers tonight. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jason.
That's Matt Barrett, the voice of the Oil Kings. Get your tickets, of course, the Oil Kings tonight and then Sunday, because, of course, you have the Oilers playing tomorrow afternoon. So it is some of you might be doing the triple header. Oil Kings Friday, Oilers Saturday afternoon, and then Oil Kings on Sunday will be lots of fun. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. They sell you a lot of vehicles, but they also give back a ton to the community. Over $27 million they've given back to communities and charities where they work. That's goauto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have signed Thomas Savoca to a 2-year entry-level contract beginning next season. The 6-foot, 176-pound blue liner spent the last 2 years playing in Czechia, recording 57 points in 90 games the 3 previous years in the queue of the CHL. On the ice tonight in the NHL, you got the Red Wings in Buffalo and the Rangers hosting the Blackhawks. Major League Baseball, Jays getting their season going in about an hour and 10 minutes. We'll join that game in progress immediately following the Jason Gregor show. You've also got the Yankees and Giants scoreless in the top of the 6th. Later on tonight, Braves up against the Royals, Angels in Houston, Mariners take on the Guardians, Padres, Tigers, and the Dodgers host the Diamondbacks. In the association, Raptors will take on the Pelicans. Tip-off set for 6:30. The Oil Kings, they'll get their series going with the Saskatoon Plains tonight just after 7 o'clock down at Rogers Place. In the BCHL, the Saints hosting West Kelowna. The Crusaders are in Okotoks. And then the AJ Whitecourt and Cameras can wrap up their series, leading both 3-1. And Canmore up against Calgary. That series tied at 2 games apiece in the PWHL. Boston in Toronto at 5. Tiger Woods was involved in a roller crash in Jupiter Island, Florida, and arrested following the incident. He was charged with a DUI, property damage, and refusal to submit per the Martin County Sheriff in Florida. And collegiate basketball, Sweet 16 action tonight on the men's side. Duke will take on St. John's. Alabama meets Michigan. UConn and Michigan State. While Tennessee takes on Iowa State. On the women's side right now, UConn leading North Carolina 28-20 at halftime earlier today. Number 6, Notre Dame over number 2, Vanderbilt 67-64. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to the stat of the day. Also be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operating facilities, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You matter. 347. And you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, McCarr, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeault. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Bouchard concrete products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates.
Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
That's 2 minutes for teeth chattering. Freezing on the sidelines again? The Kuma heated chair is a must-have for sports parents who want to cheer in total comfort. From chilly spring mornings to frosty fall evenings, you can finally be warm and comfortable for every game of the season. Shop Kuma Outdoor Gear online and choose from 4 unique models, including one you both can curl up in. Get yours today at KumaOutdoorGear.com.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
After 4 o'clock, welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Hallies. One Egret, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. We got a lot of texts. Hey, Gregor, do you have an update on Woods? Yeah, he got arrested for DUI. They're saying it's not alcohol related, so probably drug related. Painkillers potentially. Who knows what it is? And, you know, a few of you are texting, yeah, addiction's awful. Yeah, it is. However, don't make excuses. You got an addiction problem? He's got more money than he needs. Pay for a damn driver. Stop putting other people at risk. Okay? Like I'm sorry, you're a grown adult. Figure it out. Like, oh, he has an addiction. Well, that's okay. He's just going to try to, other people are going to get harmed because of him. No, sorry, it's selfish. I don't care who he is. Guy could be a teacher. Guy could be a garbage truck driver. Doesn't matter. Right? Now, most of those people don't have the luxury of having an endless amount of money that you could buy someone to say, Bob, I want you to be my driver. You're going to drive me everywhere because I know I have an addiction problem. Wouldn't be that hard. Like, stop enabling it by saying, oh, poor Tiger. Sorry, yeah, poor Tiger's got an addiction problem. He's had one for a while. This is the second crash. Right? Who knows? So, do you think he stopped driving in between and this is the only time he drove from the last crash? Come on. So clearly he has a problem. Yes, that's true. But you can't control yourself, so get a driver. Like, you have the money. You could afford a driver. Probably pay him pretty well. Be at your beck and call. What's your job? Well, I drive Tiger around. Some days I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just on call. That's fine. Need a ride. Here we go.
You would think for security reasons he would have a driver. Like just walking through the world as Tiger Woods.
Like somebody in his life. There's got to be somebody that knows, hey, Tiger, you got a problem. Right? You got a problem. Clearly. Right? Yeah, sure. Do I hope he gets it fixed? Yes. But clearly he hasn't. Right? But I don't remember how many years ago was he at last crash? Multiple.
2021.
So, yeah. So what? We're talking 5 years ago. I doubt in between that time, this is the first time he's driven under the influence of something. So thankfully, no one got injured. That's the saving grace. Not him, not the other people. That's the saving grace. Now let's talk a little football. Declan Kruger joins us. He was down at the football facility today because the CFL 2026 Combine is in town. Declan, I know you were chomping at the bit. They didn't allow you to take part in any of the events. I know you really wanted to, but that didn't happen. Is there anybody that stood out? Like, I know it's hard. It's bench press. It's the cone drill. Like, it's hard to know. But was there guys that kind of stood out to you? They say, hey, man, this guy might have helped their cause a bit.
Well, first of all, believe me, Jason, I asked. I wanted to get out there, run the 40, do the 3 cone. I tried to push for it. Yeah, the one guy who really stood out for me, and his name is a mouthful even for me, so bear with me on this one. Jesuluaomi Ojutelo. He is from Shelburne, went to Wilfrid Laurier. He was the guy. He was top 5 in the 40 time, top 5 in the broad jump, top 5 in the 3 cone. He had the best vertical. He looked the most like an athlete. Like, obviously, you kind of made the point. One-on-ones and the drills tomorrow, those are going to give us a better sense of what they can actually do on the football field. Testing is just testing, but he looked not only the most like an athlete, he's about 6'2", 220, but he just looked the most intense. Like, he wanted to make the most of the opportunity. Ethan Stewart was another guy who really stood out to me. He was a DB out of, I'm just checking my notes here, McMaster, Oakville, Ontario. Best shuttle, best 3 cone times today. Had a pretty decent bench press as well, I thought, from what I can remember. So those were the 2 guys who stood out. Wilfrid Penier as well. He's a defensive lineman, went to Virginia Tech, put up 29 on the bench, built like just the most picturesque defensive tackle you could ever imagine. He actually, what was funny about him, so he's from France. He's eligible for the global draft, but he actually spent time with New England, but had to get released because of visa issues. So it's not like a skill issue with him. With him, it was purely logistic. Those were the 3 that really caught my eye.
Okay. You look at the Elks, and like, do you think it's an O-line at number 3? Like, what do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, I was actually it's funny you asked that. I was actually pretty unimpressed with the offensive linemen today. Like, none of them really shot off the page. And obviously, again, they only have one kind of drill they can do that really shows their skill set, which is the bench. And even that's not totally indicative of it. Yeah, I saw they had linebackers mock that kid out of Rutgers, Jagere. I saw him being mocked to them at 3. I think it's got to be an O-lineman. Like, I think, for one, and I think Justin Dunn kind of made the point about it, that you can never have too many offensive linemen. Like, if it's kind of like corners. You can never have too many of them. It's a position that's filled with injuries. It's always going to be rotated in and out. If you can get a Canadian on there for the ratio, like, that's huge as well. That's where I would probably go. The other thing I would kind of say with this team is, and I really like this wide receiver room. I love bringing in Austin Mack. Like, I think he is a bona fide number 1 receiver. I know his numbers the last 2 years without Cody weren't as great, but I still think of like a true kind of number 2 slot guy is something these guys could really look at. Like, I like Keon. He's got some drop issues. Some of the, like Joe Robustellier, who they brought in, a lot of people are higher on him than I am. I like his story. I think it's very cool. I'm just saying, a lot of people really high on him, more high on him than I am, excuse me. And then some of the guys I'm high, like OJ and Benjamin, those are outside guys. So if they can bring in a real number 2 guy to play in a slot, it's a bit of a reach, and it's not a great year for wide receivers, but those would be kind of the 2 areas I would look at.
When you looked at the Combine overall today, how would you rank it? How would you rate it?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be kind of careful with what I'm saying here, because I feel very, very fortunate to cover the CFL. I love doing it. I don't want to speak ill of things. And listen, maybe people were just having a bad day, but quite bluntly, it wasn't a great showing for the CFL, I would say. Like, you get there and you check in, and it's almost like you're doing them a disservice. Like, it's almost like I'm sorry, do you want me to go home? Like, I don't have to be here if you don't want me here. And then you kind of like go, it's everything after that follows. Like, you check in, and it's your guard's already almost kind of up because they're treating you like a nuisance. Then you talk to the security people, and they almost like don't want to deal with you. And then you talk to someone from the comms department who's walking you where you need to be, and it's almost like, keep up, idiot. Then you get there, and the setup of it was, for anyone who's ever been to the field house, we were facing the south wall. Essentially, we could only really watch one drill. We could really only watch the shuttle drill. The vert was off to our right, completely out of sight. The 40 was on the other side, completely out of sight. I didn't even know where the 3-cone drill was. And then the broad jump, you could kind of catch a little bit of that as well. But the other thing was, like, no one was coming by to talk to us. There was no board of all the results. Like, if you had been at home texting me the Combine results from CFL.ca, I would have gotten them faster than I would have on Commonwealth's Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? So, like, it wasn't a great put together event. I didn't feel, listen, I don't want to put my hand up and say, hey, treat me like I'm, God's gift to radio or something, and I'm doing you guys a huge service by covering the event. But there's just like a little bit more. Like, we're there to cover this league and cover this sport that I think sometimes in these NHL heavy markets can struggle a little bit, like give us a bit of a bone. I just felt like they didn't really do that. So it was fun to be down there. I like doing it. It was cool, but it definitely, if I was running it, it would certainly be ran a lot differently.
Well, you look at things that the league, they've talked about, they want to get more exposure. Well, what's the best way to get more exposure? Make it easier for the people that can help expose your league. It's just that simple. It's not...
Well, yeah, listen, like someone tweeted at me. He's like, he kind of tweeted tongue in cheek, but he was like, hey, it'd sure be nice to get a live video down there from the combine. And I tweeted back, I was like, yeah, hey, not allowed, right? Like, it's things like that. Like, we didn't have any comms people talk to us for 2.5 hours, really. We sat there in silence with our backs against the wall, just kind of wondering, like, if someone was going to say something, wondering if we were going to get a little bit of mobility and able to cover some of the workouts they were doing. So, yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying. It wasn't put together great. And even being down there, like, I felt very limited. I'm like, yes, I can report these results. Anyone can check those on CFL.ca. Like, yes, I can take these pictures. That's not really showing the whole story. Obviously, getting a chance to actually talk to the players, that's where, you'll be able to find those articles on elksnation.ca, and that's kind of the bread and butter of it. I'm very fortunate to do that. But it was like 2.5 hours. Me being down there, I didn't feel like I did anything for anyone that they couldn't have just checked out themselves on CFL.ca. And I feel like that, again, I feel like that's a bit of a problem.
Well, it should, 100% it is. And, those are things when the league asks, when people ask, I have no problem telling them. Like, if you want your league to go to the next level, then these are the things that you need to improve on. It's just that simple. So, looking overall, though, at the Elks, like the draft, they've got four picks in the top 21.
Mm-hmm.
They have the opportunity to strengthen their Canadian depth, which is obviously very important. I'll be stunned if the 3 or the 12 isn't an O-lineman, at least one of those picks. I doubt both would be O-linemen. There are some pretty good linebackers in this draft as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, linebackers are rich with talent. Some of the linebackers were performing really well today. I just want to check my notes here. Jackson Bouchard, he was a guy who jumped off the page to me. How about this? Larry Eunice, kid out of Guelph. He put up 24 on the bench. He looked a little bit undersized as well. But these linebackers, like, a lot of them were moving really well, because linebacker, it's kind of, for anyone who doesn't know, like the Sam linebacker, they're the ones who are a little bit more mobile, a little bit more fluid. The Will and the Mac, those have generally been bigger bodies, fill the holes. But just with how good athletes are in the CFL, there's kind of been a shift that, no, these Mac and Wills, like, they need to be able to move like these Sams as well. And you're seeing guys, like, obviously these guys didn't have distinctions, but you're seeing these guys who generally would be thought of as Macs and Wills because of the size, moving like Sams. And I think that's really, really encouraging to see for any team that's going after a linebacker.
Yeah, well, I look at the now. Was there any quarterbacks at the?
Yep, they had quarterbacks. They obviously didn't throw or anything. Like, they were just doing and like this testing for quarterbacks. Like, come on, what do you want me to say? Like, the quarterback on the bench, like the quarterback running the 40. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a good athletic quarterback who can scramble, get out of the pocket. It's just like these type of drills are really, really not conducive to a quarterback skill set. That's why you wait for the one-on-ones.
Yeah, well, yeah, you wouldn't. You're not going to analyze the quarterbacks, I think, overly in depthly. And that, now, what's going on tomorrow at the combine?
Yeah, so it's going to be down at Foot Field starting at 11:30, I believe it is. That's when they're going to get the actual like workouts in. So we're going to see, one-on-ones. We're going to see different drills, things like that, like things you would actually see on a football field. These metrics, these are nice. Like, this testing is cool. It's historic. It's part of it. But when you actually get to see what a guy can do in I'm not going to say game situation, but in a full speed, full intensity situation, that's kind of where, like I said, that's kind of where you make your bread and butter on what these guys are and what they can do.
So who would you be watching for closely more tomorrow?
Yeah, like, again, the first gentleman I mentioned, like Jisuleomi Ojeteleo, and again, like a mouthful of a name, but he was a guy who really popped with his numbers. I didn't watch a lot of Wilfrid Laurier this year. Like, I wasn't watching a lot of U Sports. I wasn't watching a lot of OUA, so I'm not as familiar with his game outside of reading articles, things like that. But he popped the most just in terms of intensity, looked the most like an athlete. Obviously, the U of A kids like Carter Kettle and Carter Stewart, they didn't test that well today. I don't want to drag them through the mud or anything, but I want to see what they can actually do in those one-on-one scenarios when you're actually faced up against another guy, when you're actually doing some things. So those would probably be some of the ones I'm keeping my eye on.
I respect your commitment to the Elks, Declan, because if I'd been down there and that gentleman had played well, I'd be like, well, his name is too complicated. I just won't bring him up.
No, it's like, I'm telling you, Wanya, I'm still struggling with it here. I've been going over it all morning, all afternoon. I've written about it. So yeah, it's just getting it down.
Elks play-by-play will be very difficult if he makes the team.
Yeah, a good potential for it for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Awesome stuff, Deck. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go. So Combine continues on. I know Deck and Mac will be down there tomorrow, so should be good. And then, of course, you have the Coach of the Year award last night. Not a real big surprise. Mace winning over Jason Moss. Well deserving of that, and was a pretty good evening that they had that. Well, that was actually on Wednesday night, but either way, it's good for Edmonton to have this event. I think it's smart for the league to have Coach of the Year and the Combine, in the city, at the same city at the same time. That's smart. Gives your reporters more to cover when they make a trip. It just does. But you got to make access better. You got to have you want people to cover your league. You got to give them areas to be able to work while they're covering it. It's just like, these are simple things that, like, come on, it's 2026. This should not be that, like, the league. These are very simple things that shouldn't be like, obviously they're not that simple, but I'm telling you, I would put that right near the top of unacceptable. You want people to talk about your league more. You got to give them positions so they can do their job. It's just that simple. Come back. Craig Button will join us next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is Booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen, as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers The Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back with prices so low, they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners, up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Buy more, save more. Up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoor with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
For 50 years, the Salvi Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Salvi Group. Beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Salvi Group at Hillshire. Visit salvigroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back with prices so low they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners. Up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, buy more, save more, up to 15% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoors with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and if you're like me, you never stop wondering what the future holds. The one thing I do know is that you'll be able to enjoy my maple butter glazed donut at Tim Hortons because it's so fluffy and delicious that it'll never come off the menu. Never, ever, ever. Try it today at Tim's.
Millions and millions of Canadians do not have a doctor. We have a crisis. Canada's Medical Clinic is opening clinics across Canada. to allow everyone to have a doctor to call their own. Early detection saves lives. If you are hearing this ad, then we've got some good news. Canada's Medical Clinic Windermere is now open. Call now and book an appointment with your new doctor. canadasmedicalclinic.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EUL. Get your power play amped up with EUL, supplying the City of Champions in Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EUL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.425, Jason Gregor. Wanya Gretz, Connor Halley with you. Pause. Man, it is just flying right by. It's almost 4:30. Holy cow, your work week's almost over. Oh, here comes the weekend. I like it. Lots going on. WHL playoffs kicks off tonight. And, of course, Sunday in Edmonton, Oil Kings game 1 and 2. And then they're on the road next week. And if there's a game 5, it's most likely next Friday in Edmonton. Because, of course, the Oilers play Thursday and Saturday next week at home. So game 5 likely would be Friday night at Rogers if they need it. So you can get your tickets at oilkings.ca. Should be a good series, man. I'll take the Oil Kings, though. I'll take the Oil Kings in 5 in that series. I don't see an upset in the East Division. The West, to be honest, I haven't followed it as closely. But I don't mind that Spokane upset. If I had to pick one, I'd probably be it. But I don't know. I've talked to a lot of guys who cover the Dub way closer than I do, and they think this first round might be kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 in each side goes through, and then you get to the next round, and that would be awesome. So we'll see how it goes. Either way, playoff hockey is awesome. Enjoy it. Our next guest, enjoys hockey at any level, any time of the year. As we're going to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. If you thought about solar, don't wait. Don't hesitate. Action Electrical can walk you through the process for your home or your business. As former NHL GM, Stanley Cup winner, ace analyst, and scout now for TSN, Craig Button joins us as he always does every Friday afternoon. Butts, how you doing?
I'm really good. I got to be honest with you. I think there's only one pick'em series in the Western Hockey League first round, and I think that's Kamloops and Kelowna.
Okay.
Other than that, I know what you said about Spokane. Prince George is a really good team. Really good team. They have an outstanding goaltender. They have a really good team. And, I think we, other than Kamloops, Kelowna, I mean, obviously Kamloops has got a pretty good team. Kelowna hosted the Memorial Cup. Selfish reasons, I'd like to see Kelowna win so that they're keep sharpening the saw for the Memorial Cup. You don't want to be out in the first round and have all that time to just practice. But I think the powers that be in the East and the West are pretty well identified.
Yeah, no, that is fair. The powers that be in the East and the West of the National Hockey League, Craig, there's obviously a few teams, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Carolina, we know are in for sure, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, and the Ducks. I think the Ducks of that win last night, they punched their ticket. I know they're not officially in, but they're 10 points up on ninth place LA. Like, you're not giving up 10-point lead in 10 games. So, but there is lots of spots up for grabs. Let's start out East. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, man, I give them a lot of credit. Crosby got hurt. Malkin gets suspended. No big deal. But now Crosby's hurt again. We don't know how serious it is. But, do you think they can withstand another Crosby injury, especially with the Islanders and Blue Jackets only 1 point back?
Yeah, Jason, when he first got hurt, I was asked the same question. I said, nope, they're not going to be able to do it. Well, then they went and did it. And what's interesting? I mean, hey, listen, this is not anything that's you would ever want to have happen. But in the absence of Crosby, they played pretty well. And then Crosby came back and they had a little bit of not as much success. And certainly you want Crosby in your lineup. Don't get me wrong here. But I think that your team knew he was coming back. And until I hear what Crosby's situation is, I would say that they have a chance to make it. Erik Karlsson's playing brilliantly. Rickard Rakell's playing brilliantly. And Malkin's come back and played really well. So it's a hell of a race out there. Ottawa, Columbus are right in the mix. I think Philadelphia probably had a little wind taken out of their sails last night when they saw they went and won a pretty big game, and then they see who else won, and it's like, oh, geez, we didn't make any ground up here. But I like Columbus. I really like Columbus. And the Islanders. The Islanders and Columbus have 2 paths in, and so do Pittsburgh. Ottawa only has 1 path in.
Yeah,
seemingly,
no, that's fair. Yeah.
Seemingly, right? Like through the wild card. I mean, I just don't see Ottawa being able to climb up into third spot. So it's through the wild card. Whereas the Islanders and Columbus have the benefit of wild card or third place in the division. And, maybe they can catch Pittsburgh too, but I just don't see, I just see 1 path for Detroit, Ottawa, in that division.
Detroit, if they don't make it, Craig, this will be the 3rd consecutive March that they started the month in the playoffs and then end the month out of the playoffs. And, last year, Dylan Larkin voiced his displeasure. They didn't make any moves. This year, they made some moves, and so far it hasn't worked out great. Obviously, Larkin got hurt, and, Kopp, although he's back now, they're playing Buffalo tonight, who's obviously a very good team. But hey, you want to make the playoffs, you got to beat some of the good teams. But you lose tonight, that's a 3-game losing streak at the worst time of the season. And I just wonder if Detroit, we're going to have another, here we go again for the Detroit.
Well, I think they're already saying that, Jason, in Detroit. I think they're already saying, oh, here we go again. And right now it's up to the Detroit Red Wings. I think that the offseason, getting Gibson, he's played well for them this year. Certainly, it hasn't been goaltending. I think their younger players have stepped up and played, but they've let games get out of their grip. They've had games where they've been there and they haven't been able to hold on to them. I mean, you look back and you usually can pick 4 or 5 games in a season where it slipped away from you, and that was the cost. And I think that the Detroit Red Wings now they're gonna be the architects of their future, of their success or their demise. And they're going to have to find a way to win games, because if not, the questions will abound about their ability to win when it matters and when it gets hard. And that'll be a really significant off season if they don't make the playoffs for Steve Yzerman and his management staff to understand, what they got to do. My own personal opinion is, regardless if they make the playoffs or they don't make the playoffs, I think they got to be bold in the offseason. And I think that's something that, and I'm talking Quinn Hughes bold. I'm not talking bold, go sign. I'm talking Quinn Hughes bold. I'm talking Bill Guerin. Hey, listen, we're changing the view of our organization from within and outside.
Craig Button from TSN joins us. Craig, we moved to the West, and man, like just a week ago, everyone's like, oh, Utah looks like they're in a real comfortable spot. Well, now suddenly you take on the LA Kings tomorrow night in LA. The Kings win that game in regulation. Suddenly Utah is 2 points up on the Kings, and the Kings got a game in hand. And then you got the surging Nashville Predators. Like suddenly this Utah team here has put themselves where we thought they were easy, but they're a little bit in the mix. And, LA's got a very favorable schedule because they play Utah. Well, I shouldn't say favorable, a very controlling schedule. You got Utah, they play Nashville twice, all on home ice. They got Vancouver, Calgary. Like other than the Edmonton game, they don't really have an overly tough team to have to face. So what do you make of Utah and how they've been sputtering here suddenly with only 3 wins in their last 10?
Well, and this is really the interesting part of this race, right? Like Nashville plays LA twice. So like Nashville wins those 2 games, they push themselves forward. LA wins those 2 games, LA pushes forward. Same thing with Utah. What I said just now about Detroit, the outcomes are right in your hands. I mean, the LA Kings don't have to sit there and go, well, geez, we won tonight. What does the scoreboard out of town say? It's in their hands. It's in Nashville's hands. It's in Utah's hands. So somebody's going to have to, it's like holding a bird in your hand. You don't want to squeeze it to death, but you're going to let it fly away. That's simply put where Utah finds itself. Either you do or you don't. I love it. We're in the playoff mode. If I take this just for a second here and extend it out, this is where teams that might finish a little bit higher have to be really, really guarded when they enter their first round series, because the teams that are fighting for these last spots have been in playoff mode and will be in a playoff mode before they start the playoffs. So, you're a higher seed team, Colorado. I mean, Dallas and Minnesota kind of wash each other. I mean, that's a different animal. But I think in the East and the West, you better be really guarded about going in, because Utah, whoever makes it, Utah, LA, Nashville, they're playoff. They're already in playoff mode. They know that. So, I mean, Utah's got to find a way. I mean, their goaltending. I mean, I didn't think the goaltending wasn't very good versus Washington. And, the Edmonton Oilers played a really good game against Utah on the road on Tuesday night. So, you're not going to blame it. But you got to find ways. You got to find ways. One of the things that I see right now with Utah, just to go into specifics, their blue line is a little bit, I would say, loose.
Yeah.
They're loose with the puck. They're loose in their positioning. They're kind of like they have a number of these defensemen that can move and handle the puck, and it's almost like they're foot loose and fancy free. That's not going to win you hockey games, and I don't know if they can get that tightened up.
Well, that is a very fair question. It's funny, the Calgary defenseman, Rasmus Andersson isn't doing much in Vegas, and Uyghur's just being okay in Utah. It's kind of interesting that the guys they moved, a lot of people are like, oh, Calgary's going to be brutal. But I would argue right now, I would say in the next 3 years, I will like Zach Whitecloud over the next 3 years, starting next year, over Rasmus Andersson's next 3 years.
Rasmus Andersson, has been a really weak player for the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm talking weak.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 30 years old this year. And we already know that he hasn't been a great skater, and the game's getting faster and he's not getting faster. And I honestly, Jason, I'm looking at it. I see a John Klingberg situation here, where John Klingberg got offered a longer-term contract, turned it down. I think Rasmus Andersson might find himself in that spot where he gets a 1-year contract on. I don't know why. If you're watching Rasmus Andersson, I don't know how you could. There's only one team. And they need the manager to be there that I could see signing Rasmus Andersson long term, and that's the Toronto Maple Leafs with Brad Treliving. And I think that would be a mistake, because they're a slow blue line, so they're going to get another slow player like Rasmus. And they've played Rasmus with Noah Hannafin, who's really quick and a great skater. Rasmus has massively struggled down in Vegas, and there's no way the Vegas Golden Knights can be happy with the play of Rasmus Andersson.
Yeah. 100%. Well, he's not even playing with Hanford anymore. Now he's
I know, but that was the idea, that he would offset the skate. And it's supposed to be on the power play. Last night, Vegas had that power play in overtime. They had some. I mean, to me, Rasmus Andersson causes all kinds of problems for the power play. Anyway, we don't have to beat up on Ras. I mean, he's been a good player. I like Rasmus, but it looks like, be careful, buyer beware on Rasmus Andersson.
Yeah, dude, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. And I just look at Vegas, and I'd be surprised if they fell out of it, to be honest. But they've been in a funk here now the whole month of March, right? Like they're 4-9-1. They're 15-10-1 in their 5-10-1 in their last 16 games. Craig, this is a pretty extended funk for the Vegas Golden Knights.
They chase games. And I know their goaltending has been right near the bottom of the league. So, I mean, that's going to cause you problems. But one of the things I see with Vegas is that I see a team that kind of goes and fits in spurts. Like they have some urgency and they have some real determination. But you remember how they used to wear you down? It used to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they wore you down. They wore you down with skill. They wore you down with grind. I still think they're a good defensive team and structured well. but they don't seem to me to be a team that can wear out an opponent. It's like they got to pick their spots. And yeah, you talk about how far, like they've been. I think I saw it might have been on the broadcast last night where they're the team that trails the most of any team in the league, even more than Vancouver, right? So I mean that's just, I mean, you can say goaltending, but it can't all be goaltending. So that tells you a little bit of a story about not being able to carry play, and that's a problem for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Craig, you mentioned the Oilers, and now, hey, it's been 2 good games. They've done it 13 times this year. They can win 2 in a row. That's not a problem. They can play really well for 2 games. But now you get to number 3, Craig, and it's a little bit of a dicey situation. They've done it once this year. But I will say, even going back to the last time in Vegas and Colorado, like they've started to play better defensively, and I think it started with it starts at the top and it's come down. I've really liked the Murphy and Nurse pairing for Edmonton. Darnell's probably maybe played his 3 most consistent games here in a row. He's played a ton. Paul Coffey's relying on him. He's playing against the other team's best players and doing very well, him and Murphy. And I think it's Nurse anytime he simplifies his game, he's better. He's such a good skater. I really like it when he plays mean. I'd like to see him play more mean, especially in today's NHL. I think he's better that way when he plays pissed off and just, doesn't try to do too much. And that's what he's done. And it's made their team better, no question. They've done it all without Draisaitl. So where do you come out on the Oilers? And, in a way, the Draisaitl injury, Craig, I think it might help them in a weird way because more guys are getting some ice time down the stretch. They get some confidence. So then when you get to the playoffs, you're still going to play Draisaitl. But other guys are like, hey, if I got to go back to instead of 16, I play 14, but I'm still feeling better about my game. What do you think?
I couldn't agree with you more. And let me just go to Darnell real quick. I mean, Darnell gets maligned because of the contract, and the contract is a contract. So it's done and passed and what it is. The key now is to get Darnell playing to his capabilities. And I agree with you. I feel that Connor Murphy, when they acquired Connor Murphy, I thought he was the really nice fit to play alongside Darnell. Because Connor's stable, steady, consistent, and he knows exactly what he is, and he just does that. And to your point about Darnell, matching him up, Paul Coffey, in game, getting players settled down. I think that's the biggest thing that a coach can do. Coach can come in with the X's and O's and the plans, but when things are going haywire in the game, that's when the players need, hey, just settle back, settle in here. Your next shift is going to be this. Your next 2 shifts are going to be this. That's when you need the guidance. And I think I'm not suggesting he didn't get that previously, but I think Paul Coffey, because he knows these players and has been around, 2 Stanley Cup runs, can really help Darnell. And I mean, Darnell's a competitor, and Darnell is somebody that when he's playing like we've seen him, you want him on your team. There's no question about it. To your point about the Draisaitl injury, 2 things. I made a comment when Draisaitl went out. I said, if Draisaitl's absence doesn't force the Oilers to play better defense, nothing will. And, you feel that little bit of hole in your lineup and you go, okay, we're going to be better. But I think that Chris Knobloch, and when he first came into the Oilers back in November of 23, that's exactly what he did. He got everybody involved and got everybody being part of the team, and he had to do that. And then those players had to step up and do their part, and they have. So it's kind of like, I'm going to give you the chance, and then you got to make sure that your chances make me have confidence in you. And I believe that that's what's happened here. And you can go through a number of the players. I mean, I felt Jack Roslovic had kind of gone into a lull. He's played really well in Draisaitl's out. He needed to. Matty Savoy, he's been really good. He's been a dangerous player. He's been a really effective player. And you start to look at Dickinson. Dickinson's got lots of bite. Dickinson's got that edge, and he's in the fight. And you love that about Jason. And you don't have to worry about Podkolzin or Kapanen or those guys. But deeper down the lineup, you needed a little bit more. And Yarventi has given him a little bit of push, and Szymanski's given him a little bit of push, and now you're deeper. And if they can continue to sustain that makes you better.
Yeah, for sure. The playoffs start, of course, across, Craig, in major junior hockey. We're getting now. It's now to the end of March. The scouting, and you've done it for many years. Does playoff performance for draft eligible players matter much more than regular season for you at a young age?
Well, here's you know where I stand on this. I know where you stand on. You're evaluating over a period of time, but every period offers you a new opportunity for the players to prove themselves. The challenges become a little bit greater in the playoffs, and so it gives you just another layer of information. Now, I will say this, and I don't want to be critical here, but the first part of the playoffs, you start to see the blood, and the competition isn't as great, right? But now as you get to the second round, certainly the third round, you really get to see how the guys handle the challenges. Like for an example, you watch I think Medicine Hat's an excellent team. I think Prince Albert's an excellent team. I think Edmonton Oil Kings are a really good team. But let me just set up something. So if let's say Medicine Hat and Prince Albert play, well, you know what the perfect evaluation is to watch Dax and Rudolph play against the Ruck twins, right? So you get a matchup of top draft eligible players playing against one another, right? If you're watching different players and you get to see those, and you can get those matchups in the season. I'm a big believer, Jason, that during the course of the regular season, you look at a lot of times scouting. Oh, I got to get this game. I got to get this game. Why don't you look where they get the matchups? Where a good defenseman is going to be matched up against a good forward, and then you can say, hey, these are two guys. How do they handle it, right? And then you got a base to continue to work with. But I think it's another layer. I think it's a layer that helps. But you better be careful. You better be careful about how you weight it because. Careful, yeah. I've seen players play great in the playoffs, and it elevates their status, so-called. I've seen players maybe not play as well, and it de-escalates their value. So you just got to be careful in terms of what body of work gets weighted and weighting it appropriately.
Craig, awesome stuff, man. We appreciate it as always. Have yourself a great weekend. And has it got snow down in Calgary?
Oh yeah. I was in Toronto for 4 days, and we heard about the snow. So the roads are pretty cleared, but it looks like it's going to melt. But I don't know. It's Alberta, Jason. Who knows?
Well, I was just wondering if you did have snow, if you were out stretching, getting ready for your pickleball season.
Oh, I'm ready all the time. Listen, if it's December, I'm stretching and getting ready.
Awesome. Oh, I love it. Craig, always good to talk to you, my man. We'll chat with you next Friday.
Have a good weekend. Thanks.
There you go. That's Craig Button from TSN. Quick break. We'll come back. We got Cinq Questions on a Friday afternoon on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, Lotto Max, 60 million. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lottery, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Country, your seat is closer than you think. Starting at just $28 a week with a deposit-free payment plan available. Securing your full, half, and quarter season seats inside Rogers Place for the 2026-27 season has never been easier. Sign up for pre-sale access at edmontonoilers.com/season seats. Experience all that Rogers Place has to offer during an Oilers game night by visiting edmontonoilers.com/season seats.
Sleep is for the off-season. season. What off season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
That's 2 minutes for teeth chattering. Freezing on the sidelines again? The Kuma heated chair is a must-have for sports parents who want to cheer in total comfort. From chilly spring mornings to frosty fall evenings, you can finally be warm and comfortable for every game of the season. Shop Kuma Outdoor Gear online and choose from 4 unique models, including one you both can curl up in. Get yours today at kumaoutdoorgear.com.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters. With record investments in healthcare and education and a plan to keep our economy strong. This means better access to doctors and nurses, plus 50,000 more surgeries over 3 years. It also means hiring more teachers and building or renovating more than 160 schools, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. Budget 2026, focused on what matters. Visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Whoa. I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care. Injuries don't wait, and neither should you. 01 Athletic Care offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. It's expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health, right in West Edmonton Mall. Move from injury to recovery. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through. Lovely Friday. Hey, by the way, how about this? Awesome. I love this on a positive Friday. Would you like to go to the Oil Kings playoff game tonight? How about these seats? Row 5, club access, section 107. Like sweet seats right at center ice for Oil Kings. They're 4 tickets, so don't text in unless you know 100%. Okay, so we're going to give these away after 5 o'clock. So, because we get people, oh, sorry, I didn't know this. No, don't do that. Don't be that person. You got 10 minutes, figure it out. So we're going to have a 4-pack. So you can take maybe a group of friends. You got family. You want to go on a Friday night to see the Oil Kings. Great seats. Playoff, the home opener of the playoff season tonight, courtesy of Glenn. We'll give those away just after 5 o'clock. Now let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where The Brick, saving you more. That's what they do. Right now, the semi-annual sale is on. You can get 20% off outdoor furniture. Ooh, plan ahead, boys and girls. Also, 40% off select mattresses. And you can get 0% interest and 36 equal monthly payments at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, the Oilers have a chance to win their 3rd straight game tomorrow for only the 2nd time. Will it happen? What will the score be? And mix in a bold prediction as well.
Of course it will happen, Connor. Oh, ye of little faith. The Oilers will beat Anaheim 5-2.
Got a bold one?
I'll go Connor Murphy with a fight and a goal because he's a real one.
3 straight games. Oilers. I felt really confident they'd win last night. I have no confidence they can win 3 in a row. Honestly, they've only done it once all year. But I guess it's positive Friday. I'll say Oilers win 3-2. Bold prediction. Curtis Lazar plays and scores a goal.
Nice. Question number 2. I talked about earlier how Dickinson's toughness, what he did at the end of the first period, kind of sparking the guys, surprised me. So of the Oilers who were acquired at the deadline, or we could even say that are new this year, was there one player that had an aspect of their game that you were not familiar with?
Not really. Like Murphy's exactly. That's why I said I really liked. I was stunned on trade deadline day when all these people were like, oh, we didn't really like the Edmonton trades. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They filled 2 holes is exactly what they needed. Dickinson's got a little bit of a bite. He's not a fighter, but you know what? Like that hit on Theodore, I'd surprised it's taken that long because I'd watched him before in Chicago and Dallas, and he always seemed to be in the fray, and I hadn't really seen him do anything. Like he's not like a jerk, but he's a little bit of a jerk, right? The jerk store called, they're all out of you. So he's got a little bit of that in him. So I guess if there was one thing, I was surprised Jack Roslovic all day long. I did not know that Jack Roslovic had the ability to accelerate while he glides. He is like, there's McDavid. Jack Roslovic is one of the few players I've seen that goes by guys gliding. Like he's really efficient on his edges. That's been the surprise to me all year long.
I'm not going to have any new names, but I am enjoying Connor Murphy hockey, and I'm enjoying Dickinson too. And you didn't originally say beginning of the season Oilers. You said trade deadline, or I would have said Jack Roslovic and copy Gregor's homework 3 for 3.
Question number 3 for you guys. Let's say you're sitting in the 1 or 2 seed in the NHL playoffs, either conference. Who's the wild card team you least want to see as an opponent?
I have a soft spot for the Islanders, so I'll just say the Islanders because you never know. They have a lot of momentum and youth. It's fun to watch.
Oh, it would be the Senators for me, although the Shabbat injury really weakens that. But now that Allmark's actually playing well, the Sens, like all their underlying numbers all year long were pretty darn good. But you're going to have to take on Carolina or Buffalo. Like, I don't know. That's not great. Colorado or Anaheim. I'll say this. I'll say the plucky Predators. If the Predators catch Utah and you're the Ducks and you got to play the Preds, I don't love the fact that they got to go up against Saros.
Question number 4. The NBA reportedly looking at some anti-tanking measures with 3 proposals. I sent them to you. Of the 3, do any stand out? Something you like?
So option A was 18-team lottery, includes the number 7, 8, 15 seeds. Flat odds, 8% for the teams with the 10 worst records. Each pick would be drawn in the lottery rather than the top 4. Then option B is a 22-team lottery, which seems ridiculous to me. So teams that make the playoffs are in their lottery. Well, that's just stupid. 18-team lottery. This system would effectively be 2 lotteries. The first drawn would determine the top 5 picks, and the second would determine the 13 picks that follow. The teams that finish bottom 5 records aren't drawn in the first lottery would be guaranteed to pick no worse than 10th. I'd probably go with option C, to be honest. Like the 22-team lottery, what are we doing? Playoff teams get in the lottery? Like, that's beyond ridiculous to me. So basically, teams who lose in the first round of the playoffs can be in the lottery. Like I'm watching the NBA, and like the bad teams are just bad. Like I don't like every year. Like look in the NHL. Did you think at the start of the season you look and say, were the Vancouver Canucks planning on being the worst team in the NHL at the start of the season? Yes or no? No, they weren't. They just turned out to be sucking because they're dysfunctional, right? Did the New York Rangers, did anybody have the Rangers being the second worst team in the NHL? We thought Chicago would be bad because they're in a rebuild. So if you're in the NBA and you're going to rebuild, how the hell do you expect teams to rebuild if they, like, what are they supposed to do? Have one draft and magically you're going to find all these players? Like, to me, their whole, the anti like I haven't seen, there's the odd team that will try to lose. Like remember the Buffalo Sabres did it once and then they cried when they didn't get McDavid. But how many other teams are purposely like, we're going to like, look at the Sharks. The Sharks has this been a non-entertaining season for the Sharks? They've been pretty good. They were kind of in the hunt and now they've, reality's hit and the slipper fell off and away you go. And they're going to pick somewhere in the bottom 8, right? But that's kind of where they should have been. But they tried hard. They're just not a good team. You can't have all 32 teams good at the same time. So this is the most waste of time thing in the NBA. Oh, anti-tanking. Give me a break. Your teams are going to suck. Deal with it.
I think it's the larger problem of like load management too, right? Where there's just teams that aren't playing players down the stretch.
Yeah, but even then, there's not a lot of that, right? Looking like the teams that are bad have been bad for a while. Like let's look in the NBA. So you've got your top 20 teams, and it's pretty much solidified. Like the Milwaukee Bucks, they got Giannis. They didn't want to be here. They sucked, right? The Pacers now, Halliburton's out for a year. Is that tanking, or is Halliburton like? I didn't think one guy would be that valuable to their team. Like the Knicks and the Wizards, like they were going to be bad. There's going to be some bad teams. So I don't know. This seems way too extreme. Like to me, your bottom 10 teams should just put them in a lottery. Away you go.
Isn't it good for league parity? Like you look at the Sabres at the top of the pile now. That's largely due to drafting. Don't you as a league want some sort of mechanism to get the worst teams in the league competitive again, especially if there's salary cap implications?
Well, yeah. Well, that's what you have to do. So there's like, it's a fantasy world to think that unless you're going to say we're not going to have trades, right? Like if you wanted to remove tanking, then remove the amount of draft picks that you can trade in the future. That's how you'll stop it, because teams like, well, I'm not going to trade you a guy to just get one first rounder. I won't do it. So if you actually want to do that, then that's what you should do, but they won't do that. So to me, this is just a whole lot of nothing. And now they're adding 2 teams. Like, are they delusional in the NBA? Do they think they're not going to have bad teams? Like, give me a break. You're going to have bad teams. There's no way around it.
Connor?
Did you have one, Wanye?
Well, I agree with the hybrid option my colleague presented.
I just kind of like the idea of having like the same odds with a bad team. So by throwing away your season in the final 10 games of the year, faking injuries, load management, doesn't help you. You're a bad team. You get a chance.
Plus, on a personal note, some of our best times ever been cheering for tanking teams. Fall for Hall. That was great.
Well, exactly. Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Final question for you guys. Quentin Tarantino turning 63 years old today. Give me your favorite movie of his and favorite character as well.
I like Inglourious Bastards, Connor. And I don't know what his name is, but the Brad Pitt character, he's great.
Good pick.
Yeah, Tarantino's a different bird for sure, but he's had some, I got to probably go with Pulp Fiction. No, I'm changing. I'm going Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, I'm going Reservoir Dogs. Those two are close to me. I'll go Reservoir Dogs just because I like the names, Mr. White, like pretty simple stuff. Cons, what about you?
Really like Django. Took me a while to watch it. Dr. Schultz in the beginning, great opening scene. And then another one, Rick Dalton, Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I honestly kind of found the movie okay, but the ending was great. And his role with the flamethrower was awesome. So yeah, that'd be it for me.
The other one that he wrote, and man, it was violent, but Natural Born Killers with Harrelson, like, that was good, man. Like him and Juliette Lewis was so good in that movie. Like it was awesome. So that would be another one I might be up there with. So he had a pretty good run. Like I guess Django is lately. Like I don't even know. Like what are some of his other? Like I didn't like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like I didn't get the hype of that movie. Did you guys watch it? God, that was just like meh. I think it was great.
He's only doing so many movies in his career, right? He said in the beginning, I'm only going to make.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Every one's pretty well. There's not a bad one really in the bunch, I think.
Jackie Brown. I didn't.
Yeah,
true. I didn't like Jackie Brown. So, but you're right. He's not a guy who's done a huge amount, right?
He hasn't done like an X-Men or any of that nonsense. He's stuck true to his form.
Yeah, that's true.
Star Wars brought to you by Quentin Tarantino. He didn't take the bait.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he's been offered franchises in the past. Like, hey, Quentin, you want to do Batman?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if he would or not. He's like, because then he kind of has to go somewhat to the script, right? Like, you can't take one of those and then just go completely off tangent. I don't think that would work.
And he'd said sort of when he started that I'm only going to do X amount of movies and I'm going to write them all and I'm going to produce them all and direct them all. You got to give a guy Quentin Tarantino credit. He worked at a video store and he wrote Pulp Fiction.
Well, there you go. I like it. Now, do you want to go to the Oil Kings game tonight? It's very simple on a Positive Friday. You text in your name, your email, and Oil Kings, and then we'll put you in the draw, and we'll announce it when we come out of the break. 4 tickets, by the way. Sweet seats tonight. Center ice, row 5. Playoff hockey, baby. I like it. 833-401-1440. Your name, your email, and the word Oil Kings gets you in the draw. You need all 3. If you don't have all 3, if you can't follow simple instructions, Connor won't put you in. Trust me, he has no time for rule breakers. None. He's a rule follower. So follow the rules. Name, email, Oil Kings. Good luck. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This weekend, you're looking around. Hey, what can I do? Oilers? They only play once. We'll go car shopping. Stop in at the Autoplex, NorthgateGM.com, and you'll get a great deal.
The Sports 1440 update.
Light night in the NHL. 2 games, Wings and Sabres. Blackhawks, Rangers, both games getting going shortly in the majors. Jays kicking off their season, taking on the Athletics. We'll join this game in progress immediately following the Jason Gregor show on our AM radio feed only. One other game going on right now. Yankees up on the Giants 3-0 in the bottom of the 9th. Later on, you got Marlins, Rockies, Royals, Braves. The Astros host the Angels. Guardians in Seattle. Padres taking on the Tigers, and Diamondbacks meet the Dodgers in the association. Raptors host the Pelicans just after 6:30. In the WHL, it's Game 1. Oil Kings Blades down at Rogers Place. Puck drop at 7. BCHL has the Saints hosting West Kelowna, while the Crusaders are in Okotoks. And in the AJ, Whitecourt and Camrose can wrap up their series, leading both those series 3-1. Meanwhile, Canmore hosting Calgary. That series tied at 2 games apiece. In the PWHL, Boston and Toronto at 5. And some news breaking earlier this afternoon, Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash in Jupiter Island, Florida, and arrested at the incident. He was charged with DUI, property damage, and refusal to submit for the Martin County Sheriff in Florida. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector, Alan Mitchell, host of Lowdown Closepad, and Cam Tate as a summer reminder about playoff hockey, and there's very little to do with the game itself. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still don't care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No self-proclaimed titles, no iPads, no trips to Vegas or hockey jerseys, just a really good deal. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back, with prices so low they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners, up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, buy more, save more, up to 15% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoors with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. How are you? If you're a Jays fan, the Jays are back in. They're having a big pregame ceremony. Obviously, recapping last year. It was a great year up until Game 7. Oilers fans know all too well about that. But welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you know what would smooth things over for you? How about $60 million? Lotto Max. Lottery tonight. Good luck. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, you can get on MLB. We got some Jason Gregor Show odds boosts for you around the Jays. Also, of course, the Oilers will have that. They play tomorrow afternoon, and a little NHL action as well. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Many of you text in, want to go to the game. And the con man put them all in the system. And congratulations, Shane. Shane, Connor got your email. Hopefully you spelled it right, because he's going to be sending you 4 tickets to go to the game tonight. Awesome. And big thanks for Glenn for donating those, not wasting them. So some sweet seats. Center ice, row 5. I like it. I like it a lot. Oiler fans liked it last night. Up 1-0, tie game. Up 2-1, tie game. Up 3-2, tie game. Up 4-3, game over in overtime, and the Oilers win. And now have a chance for 3 in a row again. They are 1-9-2 after a 2-game winning streak. They will try to make it 2-9-2 tomorrow afternoon against the Anaheim Ducks and keep their slim hopes alive of winning the division. You got to beat Anaheim, and you got to beat them in regulation tomorrow, I think, if you have any hopes of trying to catch them. As we get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist. They are hiring. Looking for top men, operators, people with experience, and even some greenhorns. If you're just looking to get in and you got a good work ethic, apply today, gsconstruction.ca/look up careers. As we get to Mark Spector on the show. Spec, how you doing, my man?
Just drying my tears here watching the Blue Jays ceremony for almost having won the World Series. It's about a 20-minute drama-filled tribute to an ALCS pennant here.
I will say, you know what? I think it's actually pretty good that they have the players addressing the crowd.
Yeah, that's
George Springer and Vladdy Guerrero. Like that's something a little
got
different.
everything going on, man.
That's smart.
You know what? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a stodgy old man, but like somewhere between, like, I get the both schools of thought. You know, for instance, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we just show up at Rogers the last 2 years and there was a Western Conference banner hanging there? Like, there was no ceremony.
No, there was nothing. No.
Right.
No.
So, you know what? I mean, we've won cups here, and that's how this organization operates. You also don't get your number retired until you make the Hall of Fame. I like those high standards. I think that's great. The Jays have won a couple World Series, so I guess I'm a little surprised at how hard they're leaning into this American League East champs banner. But you know what? People celebrate. A lot of these people weren't around in 93, 94, or whatever there was when they won. And what the hell? People are having fun. Who are we to say?
Spec, I wear my Western Conference Championship hoodie regularly, and I get a lot of grief from people. And they say, why would you wear second place merch? I'm proud. I lived through many tankings. I lived through the decade of darkness. This might be as good as it gets. I want to buy some merch. Do you think it's a loser's mentality to wear Western Conference merch?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. It's, I mean, on one hand, it's
you didn't lose
secondhand merch. I don't know.
Right? Like you have to win the Western Conference in order to get the Stanley Cup. So you did win the Western Conference. They were the American League champs, right? You play 100 and whatever hell games they played. I don't have a problem with it. I think we don't I argue that we don't celebrate enough at all in life. You have big accomplishments, and now you don't want to celebrate everything. I get it, but you know what? You win you go to Game 7. Like they were. How close was Ernie Clement from winning? Like my God, right? Like they were literally. What were they, an inch away from being safe at home plate? Like, you know what? That shows you how tough it is. So,
well, in baseball too, like how many times have they celebrated already this season with champagne that I've missed?
Oh, buddy, I love that. I love it.
In baseball, the champagne comes out about 7 times a year. So
think about the team that wins, Spec, because everyone's like, oh, yeah, it means you can't win. Really? Somebody always wins, and they celebrate all the way through. So I don't have a problem with it. Right. Yeah, I'm going to try to joke with my wife. I said, you know what? I want to celebrate quarters. Hey, it's my year and a quarter. Now it's my year and a half. And now it's my year and 3/4. And I want dinner and beer every time. Who would be against that?
It's the goggles in the dressing room for me, Spec. If you're going to celebrate
that part, I agree. I don't like
the goggles off.
Yeah, that's soft. I agree. I don't need, we're not skiing. Come on. You don't need those on. But
I don't know, man. Like,
funny.
Like I say, I waver between saying, you know what, go and have some fun. What the heck? And I think you should win something before you celebrate something really meaningful. I mean, there's somewhere in between, I guess. How about that? But
to me, I look at it and say, does them celebrating impact my life negatively? No,
not at all.
I don't care. So that's why
I didn't want to watch it. Turn the channel. Right? Yeah. Turn the channel.
If you don't want to watch it, turn it off.
Right. That's fair.
The Oilers didn't turn it off last night, Spec. It was a back and forth game. And you know what? There's times in the game he didn't love it, right? Like, didn't love the McDavid giveaway that led to the goal. But then Zach Hyman says, hey, I'll match that and pickpockets McNabb. The Oilers, the penalty kill in overtime, massive for the Edmonton Oilers. And like there's certain things where you look at Nugent Hopkins, Nurse, and Murphy get huge credit for that win last night.
Yeah, especially like it's not very often you get a 2-minute PK where you don't even get a whistle. And not only a whistle, you don't get a change.
Mm-hmm.
Like they dumped the puck out of the zone, if my memory serves, twice, but it never got dumped even to center ice. And because it's a 4-on-3, boom, back in Vegas came. And 2 minutes of PK for those 3 guys, and Connor Ingram, who made some saves and made a killer poke check on Barbashev.
Yeah.
Right. That poke check he made, like he's pulling it to the front and he's going to score. And Ingram gets his paddle in there, which was a smart play. So give those guys, they all won. I'm sure they handed them the hammer and the jacket and all that stuff after the game because that was heroic. And you know what, Jay, I am like, we've been through this in Edmonton here. Oh, hey, we're seeing it come together. Oh, hey, they're starting to look like the old Oilers, and we've been through this all year. I get it. But I think in the last 10 games, this 10-game segment is by far the most, visuals we've had of all the important things that it's going to take to win. Goaltending, PK, proper defensive game, clutch scoring, depth scoring, all those things, the little things it takes. Over 10 games, I think in probably 8 of them, we've seen it now. Fair?
Yeah, I would agree, right? Like they're coming around, but until they win 3 in a row, Spec, I'm still like, yeah, I got to see it because it's too good, one step back. Too good, one step back. So the game tomorrow, plus, if you believe that you can win the division, you got to win tomorrow in regulation. You just have to. And, you know, the Ducks are a team, like I know Vegas, there's a really good chance you could face them in the opening round, but you could face the Ducks in the second round. So this is an opportunity to kind of send one of those messages late in the season.
Oh, it is for sure. Like, and I'm, you know, the owners would like to send that message. I'm firmly, though, believe that Edmonton almost isn't even looking at who they're playing from here on in. Like they're just trying to replicate their game. The 3 in a row is a perfect example. The fact they haven't won 3 in a row more than once all year tells you they haven't been able to replicate. They haven't had a consistent week in their entire season because you play 3 or 4 games a week. So really, I don't think they would play any different, feel any different, act any different, prepare any different if tomorrow's game was against Washington or the Islanders as it is against Anaheim. They know, I believe anyway, they know that when they play the game that they think they can play, it gets them to Stanley Cups. And if they play that game, they'll mow through Anaheim when it counts, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Mark Spector joins us. Spec, the other thing I liked last night, I love Dickinson responding to the hit and just hammering Shea Theodore with the hard hit of his own. Like that's how you do it. You don't look for someone else to do it. He's like, I'm in. And it was funny because Dickinson before the game was like, I don't really have a lot of hate yet for Vegas, like the fans of the team, but boom, now he does. And like those little things, man, I think it matters. Everybody on the ice gets involved. Kapanen comes in there. I joked about, the rookie Szymanski's going to have to learn, like, when you go into a scrum and there's other, like, you got to be prepared. Like, did you see Kolzar just clothesline him? He wasn't expecting him. I'm like, dude, you got to know who's on the ice when you're entering a scrum. And it's a scrum, not a brawl. Jesse Granger, our friend.
There was only one. I think there's only one set of mitts in the ground. The whole
no punches were thrown. That was just Kolzar, so he gets a good grip on guys, which makes sense. But I love that sequence, man. I just loved how hard Dickinson went at the guy. Hard hit, not dirty, hard.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't get, like, one of the things, I get beat up on Twitter, and because what people don't realize is when you're in the building, I'm in the building. So I got one look at that Lauzon hit. It was against the boards. It was kind of hard to see. And because it looked like it was a headshot, they don't give you replays in the building of that, right? The Vegas people aren't re-showing a possible headshot over and over. So I thought it was a good hard hit. And the reason that I thought it was okay was Dickinson popped up from that hit. I saw the replay when I got back to my room. And yeah, it did look like a headshot from Lauzon for sure. Like a principal contact at the head, right? But Dickinson popped up from that hit like nothing. Like it surely couldn't have been as bad as it looked, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And you're right. He popped up, he was sour, and he saw Theodore sitting at the end boards, right? At the, behind the net, and he drilled him. And that's what you want, right? Take a hit, give a hit. Like it's a man's game out there. And I was fine with it. I liked Lauzon's game. I think he's rough and tough and hard.
Yep.
And I think he's turning into a decent defenseman too. So, I tweeted last night, if Edmonton plays them in the playoffs, the Oilers fans are going to hate his guts by the time that series is over.
Yeah, which is fine, man. It's there's lots of guys Oilers fans already don't like in Vegas for sure, which is great. Fine. Little rivalry. That'd be if they meet, that'll be the third time in 5 seasons? No, 3rd and 4.
Right? I'd say.
Yeah, third and four. Because they met in 23 and 25. So it'd be the third in 4 years, which is awesome for rivalries, man. It'd be great. And we just wouldn't be the Kings in the first round. So that'd be a nice change.
That's what we're dying for here.
Nice change of pace for certain. Speaking of the Kings, though, Spec, they're playing Utah tomorrow. Utah Mammoth have won 3 of their last 10. The Kings win that game at home in regulation tomorrow, and they're suddenly 2 back of Utah with the game in hand. Like this, I'll be interested. This Utah team, I know it's been a great story, but now you get to crunch time, and can they finish it off? And so the Kings, they got Utah once at home, and then they got Nashville twice at home in the same 7-game homestand. So they control their destiny a little bit, or they'll lose their destiny, but they at least control it head to head.
Oh, I think that the Kings are a sleeper team. In fact, I'm willing. They're starting to find their game. I'm kind of willing to predict that they're going to catch one of those two teams, Nashville or Utah, here. And which again, like, I don't care what happens and how it unfolds and where the Oilers finish and if the Kings make it and all that stuff. Like, whatever happens, happens. But please, Lord, don't give us a 5th consecutive year of Oilers Kings in the first round. And I don't even think the Oilers want that. Like, I want to say to you, in the world of sports, how many times does one team beat another? 5 years in a row. Like, the hockey gods are like, somebody owes the Kings something here after last year and all these losses. And I don't love. I picked the Oilers to win, but I don't love the Oilers playing a team 5 years in a row and expecting to beat them 5 years in a row. That makes me a little nervous if I'm Edmonton. Fair?
Yeah, well, the Dallas Stars beat Edmonton 5 out of 6 years in a row, if you recall. So it can't happen.
Yeah, they did, but that was they also had about a $35 million better payroll for most of that, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Like, it was not really an even playing field. This is. But anyway, that's just my thought. Maybe it's just me saying I'm sick of watching the Kings in the first round. I think our listeners agree. And the other one is Edmonton really handles Vegas here. I'm sorry. I don't love Vegas's team. I don't like the way they're playing. I thought they gave up some wicked grade A's that didn't go in last night. It could have been 3-0 early. I think Edmonton doesn't have any trouble if they play Vegas at all.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Spec, we'll see you at the rink tomorrow.
Right, sounds good, brother.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We will come back. LT joins us next. It's Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At GS Construction, every winter plan becomes a spring project. Every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running. With a people-first mentality, career growth, and comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder. With over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just Brab and 118th.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone. The oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting non-stop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's like the longest pregame ceremony ever. Although I think they're unveiling some new Ring of Honor or something. But so are all the guys there, Cons? I see they got Vernon Wells, Pat Henkin's name was up there recently. So what is this? Like it's kind of like the Order's Ring of Honor. Is that what this is?
Well, it's their 50th season. So I'm curious if they're doing like the 50 greatest or something along those lines.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, it's a long ceremony. We're jumping to it live after the show. We might get first pitching.
Oh, yeah, because by the way, we got a lot of Jays games on Sports 1440 this year. So tune in, boys and girls, coming up right at the conclusion of our show. So you probably won't even miss the first pitch.
You got to feel for these athletic players. They don't even have a hometown. And here they are, hour and a half.
They're playing in
Toronto.
Sacramento. Well, it's a very hitter-friendly park. They are going to play 6 games in Vegas this year. You know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Is the stadium ready?
No, they're going to play at the Vegas AAA park.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah. So
that's not an indoor stadium. It's got to get hot.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably strategically have it. So yeah, no, they got, man, they're trotting out a lot of guys. Jose Batista, Vernon Wells. This is a big first pitch ceremony. There's like 6 of them. Pat Henkin from different eras. So I kind of like that, right? Representing different eras. So that's good. Awesome. I'm sure LT is probably crying because there's no Montreal Alouettes. But hey, that's how it goes. Sorry, Montreal Expos, not the Alouettes. That's a fail on my part. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, you name it, they got it. GoAuto.ca. Over 1,000 vehicles for you to choose from. LT, host of The Lowdown, noon to 2, weekdays, Sports 1440, joins us. LT, how you doing?
I'm very well. It's opening night game for the Toronto Blue Jays. The Oilers are on a little bit of roll. Looks like we're going to have warmer temperatures. I'm liking it. Everything is coming up Millhouse right now, man.
Oh, Millhouse, he is a beauty. Let's look at the Oiler game last night. What stood out to you?
Well, I got to mention the penalty kill in overtime. I thought it was great. And I mean, they scored and they won. That's huge. I like the physicality. I think their defense is getting straightened out. They're giving more support. I think the trades have worked out for. And now we don't know about Doc, but I mean that's not his fault. But Dickinson and Murphy have worked out well. I do feel, and I'm hopeful that Tristan Jarry has turned a little bit of a corner. I like Connor Ingram. There's, it happened a little sooner last year after the deadline, but you can see what they're establishing now. There's a belief system. When Florida and Tampa Bay came through town, it looked really, discombobulated. But the previous game and then the games that we've seen since, I think the Oilers are finding out some things about themselves. And of course, Leon Draisaitl, coming back, it would be a huge boost whenever it happens. So a little bit of a sliver of daylight for the Oilers, I think, and it looks like LA and Seattle. Maybe I'm wrong. Looks like they're fading. So it feels like it's 1, 2, 3. Just what order? Anaheim, Edmonton, and Vegas.
Well, LA, I don't know if they're fading, man. They're getting closer to Utah. They got a huge. I don't know if they're getting into the top 3. That's fair, but
yeah,
they are definitely potentially the. I think Vegas is the one fading. I don't know if Vegas is. They've won 5 of their last 16 games. They're 5-10-1 in their last 16, and they're the team. Like Edmonton, Edmonton's going to finish first or second, probably second, I would think at this point, because Vegas, I have no faith that Vegas is just suddenly going to snap their fingers and turn it around here. They're in a world of hurt here all of a sudden. Now they did get Mark Stone scoring finally, but they got a lot of other guys who can't score to save their life. So we'll see. But the Oilers last night, Darnell Nurse played 25 minutes, including 2 minutes in a row with Murphy and Nugent Hopkins on the penalty kill. That's 3 really solid games in a row for Nurse. I would argue that's the best 3 games consecutively he's played all year.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think people don't really get down on Nurse, but he had a really good regular season last year, and I think he's playing now, at a level where we saw him a year ago, and even maybe a little more physically involved. I have no quarrel with the way the Oilers played Vegas last night. That was the hit happened, and then afterwards there was a big reaction. And I think you have to play that way. There has to be passion in the game. And when Nurse does get involved, he does ratchet up his game. And I think in that way, Coffey, I'm assuming Coffey, putting the 2 veterans together, that they're going to be really difficult to play with in the postseason when the rules are on penalties and relaxed even more. They're a tough out now, but they'll be very difficult in the postseason.
LT, I'm watching the Twitter sphere, as I know you do, and Evan Bouchard haters are fewer and fewer every puck drop these days. There's less people giving him grief online. Do you think there's a number Bouchard can put up where they have to give him a Norris just on offensive ability alone?
Well, maybe it depends. Like this, I think Werenski is the chief competition. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he is. The thing about Bouchard is that like he's getting better. He started October, November. He really had some issues. The Oilers did, but he had some coverage issues and maybe indecision. Sometimes he had the puck, and it was a difficulty. He's playing at his confident best now. In the last 2 postseasons, he's been exceptional. So at some point, you're right. There's just too much evidence, and maybe we're getting there. Last night was like the goal that he scores is just a massive goal, and he's so casual about it. He looks like he's walking in the bank to make a withdrawal. His facial expressions never change, and it's kind of comical because he's in these great big moments and he looks completely casual. But I hope he gets lots of votes, and I hope he gets lots of love, because it hasn't always been easy for Evan Bouchard as an NHL player. But I hope good things come to him.
Well, he's making $10.5 million. I think a lot of good things have come to him. He's playing great. He's probably going to be the 13th defenseman in NHL history to score 90 points in a season. And with every point that that group goes a little bit smaller in NHL history, he's playing better. Jack Roslovic, Zach Hyman, lots of guys have stepped up in the absence of Draisaitl. But the other thing that's elevated for the Oilers here lately is their give a bleep meter is a lot higher. And, I think it was easily shown by how Jason Dickinson, he didn't like how he got hit. And I know everyone's like, oh, it's a hit to the head. Yeah, when we have the luxury of slow motion replay and you get to see it from a different angle. In real time, at first, I was like, ooh, that's a hard hit on the shoulder. And then you see it later. So I'm not upset that wasn't a penalty, because if you look at it, you could argue that Dickinson could have got a penalty on his hit on Theodore, right? It's kind of charging late when the buzzer goes. So I didn't mind either one. I just liked how he responded.
Yeah, and I think that the Oilers have been passive this year at times, and maybe there are reasons for it, maybe tired, whatever. But they at some point in time their intensity has to ratchet up, and they for a lot of this year, several years, they often start games slowly, and now we're at a point where these all really matter, and And look, they've got oodles of talent here. They should be near or at the top of the Pacific Division, and it looks like they're going to end up there. But this has been a difficult year, a challenging year. They've had injuries. I think the exhaustion is, takes a part of that too. And the goaltending's been a little bit, hit and miss. So there's lots of reasons for it. But right now, that's a team you might play in the playoffs. So you have to respond, I think, and I'm glad they did. And yeah, the kids, the guys they got from Chicago, they are a lot more aggressive, and they engage, and they join the battle a lot more quickly. And I think that little bit of rugged edge that they got from the Blackhawks probably right now in the regular season is paying off, and I think it probably will in the postseason too.
Al, Ingram start tomorrow or Jari?
Well, I would probably start Ingram, but I wouldn't be upset at Jari, because I think that, you've got to get him back. Like, you've got to get him back in. And I know that he's been up and down, and you need that game. I'd start Jari, but I'd start Ingram, but if they started Jari, I wouldn't be upset, because if he could win that game, a big game against Anaheim, maybe that does a lot for his confidence. A lot of goaltending is confidence, I think. So, but I think I'd go with Ingram.
Jake Wallman, if we're looking for positive strides here, better game for him yesterday than we've seen in the past. And, they need more. It's only one game, but you got to start somewhere, because that's a guy that needs to play better. And, maybe that's a sign that he's starting to elevate a bit.
Yeah, and, his whole game, or a lot of his game, is on skating. And he was skating better last night. He had, that ridiculous, first step. And the worry with Wallman is injury, right? And I think that he's coming around. He and Everson are third pair, although they played quite a bit. I think they played like 11, 12 minutes last night together at 5-on-5. So that's important, because Wallman, he can play either side too. So he's sort of a utility guy who can move up the lineup. But he's got that bomb shot. Like, I enjoy watching Wallman's game when he's healthy. It's frustrating when he isn't, though.
Yes, very much so. Al, have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the games, and we will chat with you on Monday.
All right, boys. Have a great weekend.
There you go. That's Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown, noon to 2 on Sports 1440. We'll come back. We got Cam Tate and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight, because dine-in is open.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still don't care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No self-proclaimed titles, no iPads, no trips to Vegas or hockey jerseys, just a really good deal. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French.
Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The Brick semi-annual sale is back with prices so low, they only last until March 30th. Save up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, and recliners, up to 40% off select mattresses, and up to 30% off bedroom and dining furniture. Buy more, save more. Up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, elevate your outdoor with up to 20% off outdoor furniture. Some exclusions apply. Visit thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
The Lawnmower Hospital. You've enjoyed a long winter with your Ego snowblower, but now it's the time to get ready for spring. Bring your summer Ego equipment in for service. Or if you're looking to add to your lawn care fleet with new mowers or trimmers, Ego has a wide selection of products to fit every season. Ego also has the powerful wet-dry vacuum and pressure washer to make your cleaning and lawn care a breeze.
We're more than repairs. We're more than mowers. The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolls through. Jason Gregor, Juan Ugretz, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Man, they are desperate. They're desperate for a win, and it's a good start tonight for the Detroit Red Wings, who are all over the Buffalo Sabres. 3-0 in the first period for the Red Wings. DeBrincat, Raymond, and Marco Kasper scoring. So Red Wings need a win. And they scored 2 power play goals. They're up early. Meanwhile, a game that means nothing for playoffs, but for lottery seeding, it does. And the Rangers and the Rangers do have 15 shots on goal tonight. After only having 10 in the whole game, they have 15 tonight, and it's a 1-1. Nick Lardis scored for Chicago, and Connor Sheary has replied for the Rangers. The Jays and the Athletics. No score. They finally got the first pitch going. They had all the pomp and circumstance, and now a new season begins. Can the Jays get back to the playoffs? We'll see. Only 162 games. It's a long season, but it's fun. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And Cam Tate, of course, born with cerebral palsy. Tater's in a wheelchair. Never let him slow down. He's always wanted to be on radio. And through the wonders of technologies, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning. And on Fridays, Tater gives me the honors of reading the 2-minute warning. Here we go. I have to admit something. I'm burying the lead. Yes, that means I'm holding on to the most important part of this story until the very end, the absolute end, as in when it's last call time. But if you decide to stick with me until the end of the broadcasting experience, you might just agree, and that's my goal, that yes, this is truly the most important part of the story, because tonight the second season shifts into gear in WHL hockey. Tonight in Edmonton, you can feel the pulse of playoff hockey rippling through the city, a heartbeat shared by fans who've waited all year for the spark of hope. The Oil Kings aren't just enjoying a late season surge, they're carrying a sense of destiny into Rogers Place. You see it when Sachin and Olinka connect on the ice, anticipating each other's moves. Ethan McKenzie, surging up from the blue line, is playing for pride and the crest for every kid who dreams of this moment. but don't count out the Blades. Yes, a team built on grit, a group of young men who refuse to be counted out no matter the odds. They skate with underdog fire, every stride fueled by belief that heart can change destiny. In goal, Evan Gardner stands steady under pressure, a last line of defense and an anchor. The team looks to him when the moment gets heavy and the stakes rise. Night after night, Gardner turns away shot after shot, refusing to yield until he faces the Oil Kings. And we'll get to that this Monday afternoon and more. Lots more, because I will have a junior hockey report. I really need to say this as we enter junior hockey playoffs with dozens of buses crisscrossing the country with hundreds of young men, their dreams ready to take place. Let's make sure they all arrive safe. All we have to do is mention 2 names of 2 junior hockey towns who make a stop and think about driving. Towns Swift Current and Humboldt. I'll never forget. Enjoy the playoffs. 2-minute warning. Cam Tate, Sports 1440. It is true, because that fortunately coming up on the anniversary of Humboldt in April. The Swift Current one, of course, was late December, and many moons ago, 1986, to be exact. And I know for people, you know what, Chris Joseph, I see him walking around all the time. I always give him a good wave, and I always think of how him and his wife and their whole family and all the other families are doing. The Wack family, many others. Obviously, a devastating time for everybody who was involved in all that, and I'm sure every anniversary it can bring up good memories, but also tough ones as well. And you never know, so drive safe out there for sure. And we wish all safe travels for everybody on the road for any of the sports, because it's not just hockey travels on the bus, it's all the other ones. So get there safe. I know there's lots of minor hockey teams going to provincials and everything this weekend and over the next few weekends. So hopefully you all arrive safe and sound, and best of luck to your teams. Hey, boys, I give Ingram the top division rival. Jari can play against the Kraken, Northside Lou. And, that's probably fair, right? I think it's going to be Ingram tomorrow. Jari at least can get himself back in the conversation. And, they play Seattle, Chicago, and LA next week. And you know what? It could be a Jari Tuesday and then a Thursday, Saturday again for the Oilers. We'll see. But either way, I think Jari has at least earned himself a 1 start a week for now. And if his next start is as good as his last one, then at least, you just keep yourself in the rotation. And that's what you want. Ideally, you'd like to have both of them where you felt like you could rely on them come playoff time. That's what you're going to want.
You'd have to think that he's going to earn more looks down the stretch, right? Like he is, at the end of the day, an elite NHL goalie on some level. Doesn't just escape your body and run down the street. You need to have Jari in some semblance of shape if you're going to get into the playoffs, because you can't play Ingram every game.
Oh, God, no. No, not at all. So,
how many games do you realistically put Jari in the remaining games of the season?
Well, look at the remaining schedule. They got 9 games left. I could see a 6-3 split. Probably at most 5-4, but probably a 6-3.
There's a lot of weak games coming up. You got to use some of those games. Right?
Well, yeah, I don't know about, he's going to have to play some, right? Like they got Seattle and Chicago next week, so he'll play one of those. And then the following week they play back-to-back, so he'll definitely play one of those. And then it all comes down to, does your goalie say, hey, I want to play the final regular season game? Because if Ingram doesn't play the Thursday game, if we assume he's the starter, then he has a week off. But maybe he wants a week off. I have no idea, because the Oilers play Monday the 13th, and then they play Thursday the 16th, and then the playoffs are either going to start on Sunday or Monday for them. The last few years, they've started on a Monday. So maybe it'll be the same. If Edmonton started at home, I don't think I'd have to look. I haven't looked ahead enough at the schedule. Does Rogers have a concert or anything involved at that time? But, the Oilers usually get priority. And, we'll see it. The Oil Kings could be in the 3rd round by then. So, that'd be something to consider. But they obviously, usually have to. The Oil Kings don't get to choose ahead of the Oilers. It never works that way. So, I would say I could see a 6-3 split. Right? So, not sure it'd be much more than that. So, we'll have to see. But it would be good. But either way, it's going to be an interesting end run here for the Oilers. They got to get some momentum where it's not too good, too bad, too good, too bad, right? So
I'm excited. Excited to watch them play the Ducks.
Yeah. Have yourselves a great weekend, everyone. Please don't drink and drive. Okay, don't be inebriated. Painkillers, anything. Just don't get behind the wheel. Okay, be safe. Enjoy the games. We got the Blue Jays coming up right after a Sports 1440 update with Connor Halley, brought to you by eWell, your partner in power since 1976. For all your electrical gear, think EWEL.ca. Good night. That's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
2 games on the ice tonight in the NHL after 20 minutes. Red Wings up on the Sabres 3-0, and Hawks and Rangers tied at 1 apiece. First, the Oilers in action tomorrow, taking on the Ducks at 1:30 down at Rogers Place. Major League Baseball, day 3, day 1 for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the first, scoreless, so they are taking on the Athletics. We'll join that game in progress coming up next on our AM feed only. Elsewhere, Marlins up on the Rockies 2-0, and the Royals trail the Braves 1-0 in the second. Later tonight, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres, Tigers, Guardians in Seattle, and the Astros hosting the Angels. Earlier today, Yankees improving to 2-0 on the season as they defeated the Giants 3-0 in the association. The Raptors taking on the Pelicans. That gets going in about 40 minutes in the PWHL. After 20, Boston leads Toronto 1-0. In town tonight, you got Oil Kings and Blades, game 1 of their best of 7. Puck drop at 7 in the BCHL. Saints will host West Kelowna, while the Crusaders on the road in Okotoks. And in the AJ Whitecourt and Camrose, they can wrap up their series, both leading 3-1. Meanwhile, Canmore hosting Calgary. That series tied at 2 games apiece. March Madness rolling on. Sweet 16 action in the first half. Duke up on St. John's 35-31. You got Alabama and Michigan just getting going. Later tonight, UConn meets Michigan State, and Tennessee taking on Iowa. On the women's side right now, UCLA up early on Minnesota 6-4. Earlier today was number 1 seed UConn over North Carolina 63-42. And Notre Dame gets past number 2 seed Vanderbilt 67-64. Tonight, LSU meets Duke. And Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash in Jupiter Island, Florida earlier today and arrested. Woods was charged with a DUI, property damage, and refusal to submit for the Martin County Sheriff in Florida. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, Blue Jays baseball on the AM feed. If you're listening online, it'll be Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440.